Here we go, here we go, here we go. Another episode of Change Your Pace Sports with alternative views. I'm your host, Kay, with your co-host, Mouze.
What's going on? What's going on?
Getting into a very special episode. This will be our NFL draft review. Get all into the NFL 2018 NFL draft. That was a pretty good draft. It was pretty entertaining.
Oh, yeah,
Got a lot of things to talk about. A lot of things that we're going to see in a few years actually happen. That did happen.
I mean, I see like if who made their draft bust and who's going to be returning next year, picking up the top 5 again.
Who's going to be the Cleveland Browns going forward?
Oh yeah, who's going to do that all over again? It was a really interesting draft. A lot of surprises. A couple of interesting situations occurred. A couple of trades that we're normally used to.
Facts.
I enjoyed what my team did. I'm pretty sure you did too.
Loved it.
It was
Shout out
great.
to New York Football Giants.
Yeah, you got to specify New York Football Giants.
Yes. I love the Jets. Don't get me wrong, but I did love their draft.
Yeah, we'll get more into that.
For sure. Let's get right into breaking down the first round. You go pick for pick with the first round since, that was the most important part of the draft.
These are your potential ready now starters that you believe that will potentially, or in the sense of a quarterback, the best one out there that you need for your team in the near future.
Correct. So let's go ahead and jump right into the first pick. We had the Cleveland Browns take quarterback Baker Mayfield out of Oklahoma.
Ooh. I actually enjoy that pick.
It's a mixed bag. You know what I mean? I think I'm just like the Cleveland Brown fans. Like, some of them was cheering, some of them were just kind of looking at the screen and like not too sure what to feel. I'm a little bit the same way about it. Like, I thought Baker Mayfield was the best quarterback prospect right now out of the group. I don't think he has the most potential. I think that's probably Lamar Jackson still, in my opinion. But I thought as far as just, throwing the football, the skills of an actual quarterback and leading a team and being a franchise potential quarterback more so than the rest of these options, I did think it was Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. I did think Cleveland, and they felt the same way as I'm saying about that. This was the right choice. And I can't say it was nothing more than probably a B as far as like a choice. It was a solid choice.
Honestly, going into this, I would actually go with what your mock draft was Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
And reason being, they went and got Tyrod Taylor to start.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think you need somebody that was that ready.
Yeah. So if you're gonna get somebody that needs maybe a little bit of time, I think Lamar Jackson just would pretty much with a little bit of fine tuning, and I think he would have got that within maybe half a season or within a year.
Correct. And I don't even want to be disrespectful to Tyrod Taylor, but I think Baker Mayfield is good enough to actually beat Taylor right now in a quarterback competition.
I'm almost positive.
And I'm not trying to. I'm just saying that I think Baker Mayfield is as good as a quarterback as he is versus where Taylor, he's more of a combo quarterback. I think he has good skills running the ball and he has decent skills throwing the ball.
Yeah.
But I think Baker is very good throwing the ball. And I think that alone could allow him to win out in camp when it's just about making plays.
And I think Baker is under, like he's secretly very mobile.
Yeah,
so he's.
I don't even think it's secret. I think it's just underrated.
Yeah, that's the best word I was looking for.
Underexposed.
Yeah, underexposed. Oh, like they have plenty of option routes where he's just a QB
like almost like Aaron Rodgers. Like, he wasn't really spoke about his running ability when he first came in. It was like, he got a good arm, and now you can see he really can run that. He
can sprint.
Yeah. So I think Baker that same vote.
And like you said, I think he can beat out Tyrod for the simple fact of Tyrod just makes plays where it's like, okay, it's almost safe in a sense. It was like he's not gonna really hurt you, but he's not really gonna help you in that sense.
Yeah.
Where Baker has that winning mentality where but that can also, he's gonna have his rookie flaws. You don't throw those picks under linebackers and such. But
I think the difference is maybe like a young, say that we have Drew Brees and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick is more of a guy that makes plays that can get you first down, but he makes plays. Where Drew Brees is a pure passer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I'm looking at here. But not as much as the talent gap. Because Drew Brees and Fitzpatrick is not really on the same level.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying by
as far as the talent difference.
You could have said Drew Brees and like Chad Pennington.
Yes.
Yeah,
but I do agree with you in that notion where it's like, now you kind of create a problem that you didn't need. I think now Baker could probably start over and probably should have. If that's who your quarterback you have, you probably should start Baker probably week 4, probably.
I'm just saying this right now.
Whereas like with Lamar Jackson, you can now let Taylor come in and for 2 years, maybe give yourself a playoff run with the young talent, the immense talent you have there with you, and let Lamar kind of go behind Tyrod, and then because I think Lamar actually has the highest ceiling out of all of the quarterbacks.
But I say that I just want to put. I'm not sure officially, but I'm almost positive that Tyrod threw or broke his television when he found out Cleveland drafted Baker Mayfield. Not again.
That is tough. That is tough, man.
Should have went to the Jets.
That is tough, man.
So yeah, we moved on.
That's tough, man.
I'm sorry.
But I mean, he's at least gonna get a great start to his season. He is the starter. And right now, it sounds like he will be the starter.
Right now, he better be outside working.
Because he has a lot of options. Like Cleveland has a lot of talent right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's how we feel about the Baker Mayfield.
I'll be calling up all those wide receivers right now. You're coming to my house. We're working out every day.
Correct. So I mean, for me, I'll say to our end on the Baker Mayfield talk. I feel like I don't think it was a home run, but I do like the pick.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm not sure. Like, I'm not guaranteed he's going to be successful. Like, I'm not looking at this like I think he has a great chance of being successful. All right, let me rephrase it then. I don't think this is the greatest fit.
Cleveland, who knows?
I think this is a good pick, but I don't think this is the greatest fit. Let's put it that way.
But the next we had Saquon
Barkley
going to the New York Giants.
Number 2 pick in the draft.
This is what pretty much everyone assumed would be going on.
Yeah.
It's the only one that kind of makes the most sense.
Yeah.
As far as the position of where the Giants were.
Yeah.
And the talent level and the talent of Saquon, that he brings in another option. You get a great who could potentially be one of the top running backs coming in.
Yeah.
And he probably can give you close to either between I say about 800 to 1,000 yards in his first season. It looks like just coming in.
Correct. Looking at the tape, I thought Saquon Barkley was the best running back prospect I've probably seen since like Adrian Peterson. I thought he was better than Ezekiel Elliott, and I thought Ezekiel Elliott is the reason why Dallas was in the playoffs the year before. It wasn't Prescott at all. I thought it was just simply what Ezekiel brought to the table that year is why Dallas made it to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And that kind of effect out of the running back lets me know that the running back is not devalued in today's NFL. If he's that talented, he could be that effective in the right system. And then we saw with Fournette, who I was very high on, the Jaguars were in the playoffs the year before. He was there and he had a significant impact, and they were in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And he actually contributed well to them in the playoffs. So again, another high pick, another player who we knew was going to be very talented. And Saquon is better than both of them in my eyes. And what makes him better than, I think, a lot of the draft picks we've seen in a long time, he reminds me a lot more of Fred Taylor or Marshall Faulk, where he's actually a great catcher of the football also. Mm-hmm. He can be almost a wide receiver in most teams.
And you can plug him in as a kick returner.
Correct, which I don't think he'll ever get to, which Odell could have did that too. They only did that a couple times with him in his rookie year, and they stopped doing that. Mm-hmm. I think it'll be the same with Barkley. They'll let him do it a couple times.
Might try him in preseason here and there.
And then they'll stop doing it with him, because I feel like he's going to run the ball probably 20 times a game and catch it 5-10 times. But I feel like he's just the perfect pick for the Giants. And I think for the NFL, this is extremely scary, because now you get probably 3 of the most unguardable talents offensively on one team. But when I look at Ingram, he's an absolute mismatch in the tight end position. I look at Odell Beckham, he's an absolute mismatch at the wide receiver position. And then you now put in the slot, they have Sterling Shepard, who's actually virtually unguardable out the slot. And now you put a running back that can also catch it out the backfield, that will take away those middle linebackers and those zoning people from doing that, because now you have to worry about a running back that catch it out the backfield and can go all the way every single time.
And I think it also makes it tough, because it's not like that's like the only backfield. They did pick up Jonathan Stewart.
And they still have Darkwood from last year, which is...
And then they still have their last year's pick up Wayne Gallman.
Will Gallman, yes.
Yeah, so it's a good rotation of a good running back. So it's
good running back room, and I think Williams is a good mentor. Stewart, I believe. Jonathan Stewart, he's a good mentor.
He's been in a situation where he's been in a double running back situation with Carolina, with him and
D'Angelo Williams.
What was it? Running Pop? I forgot the name was. Running Pop or something. I can't
remember. He did have a little bit
the name, but it was Williams and him. And a lot of times Williams was hurt, and he took a lot of starting roles. So even if Saquon doesn't rotate easily, it's still a good with Stewart.
Correct. And I had a lot of people saying that the value is where this pick is not the best pick for the Giants. I see a lot of people had like B minus. It was a bad pick because the Giants could have traded back and got more value out of this pick being the second pick in the draft, or the Giants might have passed up on their franchise quarterback. To that notion, I just disagree. I just feel like if you feel like you had 2 years with Eli Manning, you still don't draft the quarterback at that position. You draft somebody that can help Eli Manning, whether that's Quentin Nelson, the guard out of Notre Dame, or Saquon Barkley. You draft somebody to help Eli Manning right away because those players are Hall of Fame potential players that can help Eli at least for the next 2 years and your franchise for the next 10 years.
That's the whole point. It's like
So
you
it's
draft
like-
people not only to help the current quarterback, but if you do know you have to move on, you need to put somebody in place.
That's right. So
You don't want to come in with a brand new guard, brand new safety, brand new running back when you have a brand new quarterback.
Correct. So I still feel like, let's say they did trade back, as a lot of people are assuming, like there's no guarantee that you get a Saquon Barkley though.
Yes.
So like, you know what I'm saying, or even a Quentin Nelson, or you know what I'm saying, one of these guaranteed game changers. And that's what the draft is about. You're trying to find players that is gonna make significant, and the best players in the NFL were drafted usually as game changers. So your Julio Jones, your Matt Ryans, your Ezekiel Elliott's, your Adrian Petersons, your Michael Vicks. These are all high draft picks. They were drafted to be game changers. They became all pro players.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not no surprise for a lot. Even Odell Beckham, I believe he was the 10th pick or the 12th pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
First round. He's expected to be a game changer. So now let's say you trade back and then you get a Darius Guy, so you get a Sony Michael, and he's no different than Wayne Gallman, a very good runner. How does that help either Eli Manning or how does that help Davis Webb going forward? It doesn't. It doesn't help the Giants. So I understand the idea that, you know, you trade back. And if you get the right package, like if they was giving up, let's say, 2 first-round picks and a first round this year, oh, yeah, you trade back. Oh, yeah, you trade back.
Mm-hmm.
But they're saying that they were only offering, let's say, one other first-round pick, or they were offering a second-round pick and a first-round pick. That's not enough to wow me off of Barkley. Barkley might end up being the best running back since Adrian Peterson. You don't trade that for a couple of starters. Is that what you're going to get out of the first round?
Mm-hmm. A lot of people have been comparing to Barry Sanders, so even
Correct.
with those type of high
Legendary
names, is just, and you can see the talent.
Oh, yeah.
He's done it for a few years at college. It's only going to translate to the NFL.
Facts. Again, like when I watched him on tape, he reminded me as a runner most of Fred Taylor, as a receiver most of Marshall Faulk. And those are 2 players that you already know all the famous.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's that. Moving into the next New York team, the New York Football Jets made themselves a pick that a lot of New York fans was very happy about. A lot of teams feel like, a lot of pundits had the QB Sam Darnold out of USC as the best quarterback prospect, the safest quarterback prospect in the draft. And they feel like the Jets lucked out with the Browns not taking him and the Giants not taking him, and then maybe will fall to the Jets.
Sam
Your
Darnold.
thoughts?
I spoke my piece about Sam Darnold a few times. I still see the same thing. I think he can, he is, as far as quarterbacks go into this draft, you can put him up there as one of those tops.
Yeah.
But as high as he went, or as how much he's getting as far as his talent level,
yeah.
I don't see it. I still haven't seen it. He's very inconsistent when passing, especially in this last season. He threw his most interceptions as a quarterback.
You compared him to
who was it?
Kerry Collins?
Kerry Collins.
Yes, Kerry Collins.
He came out of Kerry Collins. And Kerry Collins, I think, was drafted,
Very high.
7th, 8th round or something like that?
Nah, I think it's very
No, I said sorry. 7th, 8th pick?
Yeah,
he was a first round draft
Yeah,
pick.
he's definitely high.
So, I feel the same type of ceiling, where very high, but it's very short.
I do agree with you, and I agreed with you when I watched him on tape during the process. Kerry Collins it's a great comparison, and I'm not knocking him. I think in the right situation, Kerry Collins was successful. He took the Giants, my football Giants, to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Ravens kicked our teeth in, but he got us there. You know what I mean? He did well with what weren't all pro receivers, Ike Hillard and Amani Tuma,
and that's how Sam Darnold was. A lot of talented USC team.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just... Look, I could be super wrong. I have no problem if I'm wrong, but just the way the kid looks on tape...
5th pick, first round.
5th pick, first round, you see? So,
1995, yeah.
and now it's a 3rd pick, first round.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a great comparison. I mean, and unfortunately for me, I just happen to the person that I thought the most about Sam Darnold watching him play football this season was actually Mark Sanchez. And it's like I don't want to make
look where he just went.
I don't want to make that association. You know what I mean? Like, but literally, this almost looks like Mark Sanchez Volume 2. Maybe I just hope that maybe Todd Bowles can do better than Rex Ryan did with Mark Sanchez. And let's not get it messed up. Like Sanchez was a success for the Jets. I think a lot of fans just think of the butt fumble and think of Mark Sanchez. Like he was a success for you guys. He was a high draft pick that got y'all to 3 straight playoff runs right out of college. That's a success. The average football career is 3 years. You got 3 straight playoff runs from a rookie quarterback. So you can't say that Sanchez wasn't a success.
Yeah.
So I think Sam Darnold can probably just take it from where Sanchez left it and could probably go a little further, maybe get the Jets to a Super Bowl in his time here. I think, because again, it's really about defense.
It's really about the talent.
I think Bowles is a good head coach. He got the most out of the team when they didn't have much talent. So I think now that they're putting more talent around him, he can get that defense to play well. And I think Sam Darnold has that it in it, where it's like if they're close, he can make plays. Eli Manning has that in him. But you saw it in Sam Darnold with the comebacks at USC, where he'll turn the ball over a lot.
Yes.
Almost like Eli Manning, almost like Sanchez. Turn the ball over. 3 quarters look like garbage. But when the money's on the line and the chips are at the line, like Sam Darnold makes the plays. That's something I will give him credit for. He's a clutch player.
Yeah. Like to go into the Kerry Collins situation.
Yeah.
When his first year coming out, he had 14 touchdowns and 19 interceptions. I see the same type of numbers for Sam Darnold.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
But I'm not to say that it's going to be.
And they don't have no receivers over here for him to really.
Exactly. But then
they should sign Des Bryant.
They should sign everybody. But when you get later on to his career, he starts posting a better numbers and better situation. So I'm not saying Sam Darnold's going to be a horrible player. Yeah. I just think it's
with Carolina, it didn't work out for Kerry Collins.
Yes.
When he got with the Giants late in his career, that's when he had his best years.
Giants, he did better in Oakland. He had his best season.
Correct.
Statistically.
But yeah. So for the Sam Darnold pick, I don't think this is a home run either. Almost like the Baker Mayfield. I didn't necessarily look at these quarterbacks and I hear a lot of people saying, and I hate this term, like when it's like you got to draft a franchise quarterback, and in this draft you had 4 guaranteed franchise quarterbacks.
I've heard that every year.
And now let me rephrase that by saying, like, a franchise quarterback means that you're literally your top 10 quarterback. Those do not, like, for instance, some people might say Andy Dalton is a franchise quarterback. He's not a top 10 quarterback in the league. He's what you call a starter. He's a guaranteed starter. Like, for the Bengals, he is their franchise quarterback. But in terms of the league, he is not a franchise quarterback. You don't start your franchise with Andy Dalton.
I think it's misinterpreted different. It's more like he's their franchise's quarterback.
Like, that's a difference.
That's the whole word.
Like, Ryan Tannehill is the Miami Dolphins franchise quarterback.
He's their quarterback.
Nobody is saying that
he's a franchise.
Ryan Tannehill is a franchise quarterback right now in the league. And that's what I'm saying. So when I hear people projecting and saying there was 4 guaranteed franchise quarterbacks, you don't see that unless the players are home run. And you see that with certain players like you had it with Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger. It was guaranteed that these are going to be star players, not just star quarterbacks.
And stuff like that.
Correct. Whereas, like, they're going to be star players. Therefore, you can say they have potential to be franchise quarterbacks. Because to be a franchise quarterback, it means you're a star quarterback around the league.
I heard.
That's my interpretation, though.
This is my problem. I remember when that year with I can't remember all of them, but I know 2.
Yeah.
Christian Ponder and Jake Locker.
Yes.
Tennessee Titans, Minnesota Vikings, both picked them up. Those 2 quarterbacks in the first draft. Yes. Those were considered franchise quarterbacks. Yes. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's actually a draft I wanted to bring up with the Browns.
Yeah.
That I mean, it's not to bring up like any bad like pass, but it's like the 2002 NFL draft. It's another draft that like was a little bit questionable. You know what I mean? Nobody was really sure who was going to be what, and it had a lot of quarterbacks that came out and turned to be bust. First pick was David Carr. Third pick was Joey Harrington. The next quarterback that I picked up was another one that had a little name on it. I believe his name was We'll get to this. He was a little late in the pick.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Ramsey.
Okay.
You had one big in college. He was the 32nd pick. You had Joey Harrington was the third pick. You had David Carr was the first pick of the draft.
All these guys melted in nothing.
See?
But I'm just saying.
Bad situations. Yeah. And it was like Joey Harrington, David Carr, guaranteed franchise quarterbacks. These are potential franchise quarterbacks. And it's like their skill set, sure. They have the skill set to be a good player or a good quarterback in the NFL. And I say the same for all of these prospects. Josh Allen, Kyle Luletta, or the kid out of Wyoming. I think that's just Josh Allen, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm missing Rosen, Donald, Baker. They all have the potential to be good quarterbacks in the NFL. But you don't see any of them as being a home run star player in the NFL. And that's why I don't think none of them were franchise quarterbacks. Like, not even Lamar Jackson. As much as I say that I think he's the best quarterback prospect, I don't think he's a home run as a star quarterback.
No, I get what you're saying, because I think sometimes people get confused when you say Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback. Now, if Lamar Jackson was in the same draft with Andrew Luck, he still goes second.
Facts. The same way I say, like, I think Lamar Jackson
go third after
RG3. Like,
yes, I'm saying he might go third after RG3 for the simple fact of, as far as
when they were coming out of college.
Exactly. Yeah. But as far as the upside, Lamar Jackson does have he's very mobile, and people don't realize how strong he is.
I just throw another nugget out here that I just seen on Twitter like 2 days ago. Lamar Jackson ran for more yards than Saquon Barkley did both years.
Nice.
That's crazy. And this is supposed to be the best running back prospect we've seen since Barry Sanders. And this quarterback.
If there was a way to check the stats on the broken tackles Lamar Jackson has had, not just off weaving tackles, I mean where a tackler is on him and he removes. Yeah. Watch the game against Houston. It's a game against Houston where he is grabbed up by his ankles and he moves the guy and makes an amazing pass. This is how strong this man is, because he pulled up like about 40 pounds extra on his legs just to get stronger.
I mean, Lamar's a special player.
So,
but I mean, and I even throw you another nugget out there that most people don't even know. Lamar Jackson ran for more yards than most of the running back prospects. That's Sony Michael, that's Saquon Barkley. He ran for more yards than them, and he passed for more yards than all the other quarterback prospects but Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. How does that sound for? He's probably the most talented player in this draft, as far as offensively speaking. Like, we could talk a little different about my man Raquan Smith, and we'll get into that. We'll talk a little different about Quentin Nelson, who I think is just a player.
We're not supposed to get into it, right?
So, I mean, but that's how we'll just finish off with the Sam Donald. I didn't think he was the best quarterback prospect. I thought Josh Rosen was better for the Jets. And I think Josh Rosen was right to be upset the way he came about it when he did get picked, because I thought the Jets made sense for him.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. I'm saying, like, maybe he could be a little better than Mark Sanchez. That's the Jets' hope. So, Jets fans, I'm not taking this as a knock. I'm not saying that he is Mark Sanchez. I'm just saying USC, turnover problem, clutch players. That's the same gene. But you hope that Bowles can do better than Ryan did. That's all. That is all.
I'm just saying, we ain't done with you Jets. We have more for you later.
Number 4, Cleveland Browns got back on the board, and they went ahead and drafted who some people say was the best cornerback in the draft, Denzel Ward.
Yeah, very undersized corner, but he's a very ball-hawking corner. He showed very good promise. I think it's a majority of how Ohio State has been producing really good cornerbacks.
Or hit-and-miss quarterbacks. You guys remember the guy with the Jets, man?
Oh, yeah, Dean Miller?
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing against Miller, but I thought that he was really a nickelback that they tried to force into the outside, and it ruined his career.
Yeah. I can't say I don't like the pick, and I can't say I do like the pick.
I'm the same way.
It's almost like I think you could have went anywhere. You could have went offensive line.
Honestly, I just thought this pick was Bradley Chubb. Like, I just was like, in my head, I just thought like this has to be Bradley.
That's what I'm saying. I thought they was going to get
Garrett on the other side.
I thought once you get quarterback, I think you're going to say,
I felt like there's enough corners in the game that you didn't need to spend a top 5 pick. Whereas Chubb, they said was okay. I thought I seen on the NFL Network they said that Chubb ranked better than Garrett did last year. So if you want to say both, you know what I mean? Like, you're in a position to literally have what the Giants were able to have with Uman, Strahan, and Tuck. And you see what that did for them.
My thing is this. you went to the off.
And I think like Denver leaped on that opportunity.
You went to the off season and you spent a lot of money on free agency.
Yeah.
So now when it comes in, I thought with the 4th pick,
didn't they sign a corner?
So I thought in the first pick you was gonna pick either Nelson or Chubb. I thought that was your choices. I thought that was the 2 choices that was gonna go out. I didn't think corner at that top draft pick when you had other candidates as far as some of these people like Mike Hughes could have dropped to you later on.
I'm just thinking,
it's just so many.
It was a rich defensive back draft,
and you could have went anywhere.
You could have definitely like, for instance, like Isaiah Oliver, that was gotten much later in the draft. I think has very similar skills to Denzel Ward. Not maybe
similar skills, but as far as he can help out in this situation.
He would be a starter in that room.
And you could have gotten a bigger quality as far as the top 5 pick. And I'm just saying.
Because I think the lines are the most important part to a team, whether it's the defensive line or the offensive line. And you had 2 once-in-a-generation players.
And you left both of them.
And, you know what I'm saying? You just got your quarterback. Nelson would have made sense.
That's what I thought.
With a lot of sense. And I thought Chubb would have been almost like a luxury that y'all would have gotten.
Now, if you got Chubb, you're just saying, like, you know what, screw it. If our offense can't work it, our defense is definitely going to do it.
And, like, again, the Ward thing, like, you make corners better by having better pass rushers, not by having better corners. Like, let's not get it messed up. Like, Darrelle Revis never had a dominant, the Jets never had really dominant pass rushers because you had Revis. Revis allowed them to get sacks because he would just cover, and that you get covered sacks because he was that good. But at the same time, imagine how much better Revis would have been if he had an elite pass rusher on that line with him.
I give you another person. I don't even want to discredit the talents of this kid first.
Oh no, I didn't think he was a top 10 talent.
No, yeah. I'm talking about AJ Bouye.
Correct.
He went from Houston where he had Merciless and JJ Watt creating that pressure where it was easy for him. Now he goes to Jacksonville where he has that front 7 that's making it just as easy for him. Yeah. I'm not saying he's not talented, but it kind of makes your job easier.
It complements each other.
So
definitely,
I don't know. A top 5.
So I mean,
you gotta be Deion Sanders for me.
So I saw a lot of people say like, "Oh, this is an A." A lot of people gave it an A on fit and value. Like I give this a D in value, and I give this probably like a B in fit because I mean I know they needed a corner, but corner's not that like who's on the board and where we at. We're in the 4th pick, and like you still had again Nelson, who some people think is the best player in the entire draft, and who's probably might end up being like a 10-year stalemate at the position. Like you're losing Joe Thomas, and you just lost Alex Mack, right? Wouldn't it make sense? Would you bringing in this quarterback now and with Tyrod Taylor being more of a mobile quarterback, Nelson would make a lot of sense. I'm just saying, like, I'm not gonna knock it. I'm not gonna say Ward won't be good or he can't, have a dominant season. He can't end up being Deion Sanders or something like that. I'm not saying that's not the case. He's talented. Yeah. Top 10 player, no doubt.
No, and it's amazing. That's fine. We know he's going to be a very talented player, but just thought they could have went a different direction.
Oh yeah. So as we move into number 5, we got Denver Broncos, and I want to say shout out to John Elway. He continues to impress me as a general manager. He got another home run pick here.
Bradley Chubb. You know what's amazing? Because once I seen this, I said Von Miller was very. He been praising. He been calling. He's been saying for a while, I would love to play with this kid.
You tweeted that right after that pick too, like we gonna work out together.
Because now it makes it a best situation. You lost Aqib Talib. Now this is another situation where they lost a corner. You lose Aqib Talib, but you get a dominant pass rusher in Bradley Chubb, who is not only a dominant pass rusher, he's a dominant run stopper.
So I'll even throw you the
and he was in tops in tackles for loss.
Oh wow.
So out of about 20 tackles and loss last year. So that alone just makes your defense and your team alone just makes it. And then with their situation, I'm almost positive. I'm not in their war room as far as the Denver Broncos. I think they wanted
Fitzpatrick?
No, the quarterback. Browns took.
Oh, Baker.
If Baker,
so too.
I think if Baker was there, they would have took him. But the fact that I think they looked at the rest of the quarterbacks and said, out of Bradley Chubb or the rest of these guys, I gotta go with Bradley Chubb.
And I think I'm gonna even throw a comparable. Why I think the Browns draft right before that is poor compared to this draft. So I think the Broncos are looking at it like we just lost Aqib. You know what I mean? Our secondary, they performed to our capability. We already have Von Miller. They could have went and went Derwin James, or they could have went, Mika Fitzpatrick, and I think everybody would have thought that was a great pick. But they recognize value, and they recognize what got them to the Super Bowl. It's an elite pass rush. An elite line is what will get you further than elite corner. There's elite corners across the league that don't really make the difference in wins and losses. Specifically, Darrelle Revis. He was dominant for years. The Jets ain't never won a Super Bowl there.
To give you another one into that, Cleveland Browns should already know that. They had Joe Hayden for a quite long period of time and went nowhere.
Top 5 quarter for years.
Went nowhere.
They didn't win no more than 4 games on them.
So
they might have. I don't want to throw out there. They ain't no more than 4 games.
I think they actually made a playoff.
Brandon Edwards, yeah, right?
But besides that, Bradley Chubb, great pick for Denver.
Great pick.
Next pick, we have my man OG Quentin Nelson going to the Indianapolis Colts, which I felt was
home run.
Almost just a hands down pick. With Bradley Chubb coming off, Saquon coming off, I almost believe that even if Saquon and Bradley Chubb was still on, I think this probably still would have been our pick. This is the only person that our general manager Ballard actually went to go see at his pro day. That almost proved it. Like, he likes the kid. I mean, he said that the kid is tough, the kid is big. If you watch him on tape, you cannot be impressed. He almost reminded me of what's that guy from Tennessee, Lawan, and he kind of reminded me like Rich Incognito. Like, he just reminded me like one of those guys that you're gonna have to keep paying every time when before his contract is up. I mean, he's not going anywhere.
He definitely has the skill where it's like you can predict the Hall of Fame right now. Like, he has that kind of look to him. Yeah. Like, this is like it's only like for like I think 4 or 5 players that they draft to identify like I would say call Hall of Fame potential. So to me it was like Raquan Smith, Quentin Nelson, Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson, and that's kind of like the crop of it. Because those players to me like they they have like skill sets that would be one of ones. The rest of the league, I mean, they're good, but these kids could be Hall of Fame good.
Not to say that the rest of these kids can't be Hall of Famers, but just about like looking at their college tape, you can almost see it like
you see in certain plays like Adrian Peterson. You watch him in college, like you knew he was going to be a beast.
Like Leonard Fournette, you knew that from high school.
Facts, they were talking about it for a while.
So those are kids that I do like the Nelson pick, great pick. The next pick with Mike Gesicki.
No, the number 7 pick would be.
Sorry.
The Bills would be Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen. Sorry.
So quickly with the Indianapolis pick for number 6, that's a home run.
Okay.
But number 7, we had the Buffalo Bills. They traded up from the trade with the Buccaneers to get their quarterback, Josh Allen, who was like rumored to be possibly the number 1 pick. There's rumor that the Browns looking at him as the number 1 pick. But it has a lot to do with the fact that a lot of people feel like he has the best arm out of all these players. Not so much of skill, because he wasn't really ranked that well. Like, he's probably ranked as about the 6th or the 7th best actual quarterback right now.
Yeah, he didn't have
but he did have the look of it, and he has the best arm. So he's 6'5", 240.
Yeah, he to me grows comparison to
Joe
Flacco. But Flacco I think had more of the better accuracy with his arm.
Yeah.
They're really striving on this kid because he has a big arm.
The physical tool.
Like,
that's the word.
But I guess in Buffalo it kind of makes sense but it's still iffy because you have a quarterback that's never started. So then now if I do like AJ, but if AJ does not work out, you gotta hope this kid does right away. And I don't think he has a right away talent. I think he still needs a little bit of grooming.
I mean, here's the thing, like
he also in his conference he was as playing in Wyoming, that was not a really big conference, and he didn't have a really good winning record. Right. So he didn't show as a really good of a winner.
Didn't play against high competition either.
And then even on the Senior Bowl, where you're not even getting blitzed, majority of his plays he didn't start throwing and getting comfortable till towards later in the second quarter of the Senior Bowl. He ran majority of the time because it almost like he doesn't trust his eyes. So I don't know. Like, as a top pick, I think he does have a good upside with that arm. But for that team, I don't know if you want someone that you might have to plug in right away.
I think this is where we're getting too much into the athletics and not into the skills.
Yeah.
Like, this is not linebacker.
Yeah, I think we're getting confused.
Yeah, this is not safety. This is not tight end. Your physical profile doesn't make your talent. You know what I mean? And with the quarterback, And I get he throws far, but like Antoine Randall could have threw the football, but he didn't become a quarterback for that. Like he didn't have the Tebow could technically throw the football, but it didn't turn out well for him now, did it? And we've had a lot of quarterbacks that could throw the ball well, like Jamarcus Russell, who had probably the best arm I've ever seen in life. That didn't work out.
So it's all about fit and placement.
So I mean, and then to the point of this pick, I think it's a horrible pick. I'm just gonna get out there. Like this is one of the worst picks I thought I saw in the first round, and it's not against Josh Allen. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a chance to be a successful quarterback. I'm not saying none of that. What I'm saying is though, first off, I don't trust this Bills administration, like this particular administration that's running this. First, the benching of Tyrod Taylor last year, and then putting in a player that got intercepted 5 times in one half and said that he looked like he was ready.
I think it was 6.
After that, I didn't feel good about that team. I didn't feel about that administration. Then, when they made the play for A.J. McCarron, I thought like, okay, that's a solid move. So I got confused as to why they would trade up after you was able to trade and get what I think A.J. McCarron could be your future quarterback. Like that to me is like almost like equivalent to drafting a quarterback in the second round. Is A.J. McCarron. So now this should be your quarterback that you want to groom to be your franchise quarterback for the next 2 to 3 years. You've got in him now. Now, to trade up now, I didn't understand that. First, I didn't understand why you're giving up your value in the first round, giving this all up, and what are you getting? Like, Josh Allen was the most bust, had the highest bust potential out of all of these quarterbacks. And you gave up value in your draft and future draft picks for this quarterback. I just didn't understand it. So, and then back to the same administration saying that they felt like the backup quarterback, I believe it was Nate Peterman. Nate Peterman had outperformed Taylor in practice, and then he threw the 6 interceptions. I just don't feel like y'all know quarterbacks. And then y'all made this move before A.J. McCarron even had a practice with y'all. I don't see this going to be successful. I'm dooming this pick from the jump because of everything around this pick look bad.
Trust has been already completely violated.
But here's the thing. Maybe Josh Allen hooks up with a wide receiver over there, and they turn out to be a great tandem, and they put up big numbers. Who knows? But it doesn't look good. So I'm giving this pick like a D. Like, this is a horrible pick. And then, for me, I thought Josh Rosen was the cleanest quarterback prospect out of all of them. He reminds me of Eli Manning. And to me, it's like, if he's on the board and you're trading up, you can't pick Josh Allen over Rosen.
Yeah, I didn't think
you just cannot. You can't be looking at the same tape. And to me, they're not. They're the same tape they were looking at when they thought Peterman was better than Tyrod Taylor. So I'm thinking that they made another mistake here. Sorry, this is a horrible pick to me.
I just didn't like it. I don't think... my main reason why also I didn't like it, for this effective, I don't think Buffalo really has a wide receiver that stretches the field that can complement Josh Allen's arm.
And then Christian Kirk did get picked up by them.
So...
that would have been the perfect fit for
her. When your number one receiver is Kelvin Benjamin, who needs passes almost like Dez, where it needs to be accurate outside passes.
He didn't work out with Ken, who has just as big as the arm, right?
So I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't like that.
I thought Benjamin was strictly a play that was brought in for Taylor. I thought Benjamin fit more of Taylor's style of play than... Well, I can't say what A.J. McCarron's style is because we haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, since college. So we'll see.
If you was even going to build around McCarron, you already stopped that because... and how does A.J. McCarron feel now?
That's another one that broke his television when he got...
how were you... you brought me in. You made the trade for me. You gave up the draft picks to bring me in to be your quarterback. And then you trade up again to bring in another quarterback.
That's what I just don't get. If Josh Allen fell to you somehow, then fine. But you made the effort to take him. So that means that we picked up AJ, but we don't really believe in you, AJ.
At all.
Because if they didn't believe in you in Cincy, we don't believe you in here.
I feel bad, baby. Can't.
But we'll see, because if AJ shows out, this becomes a really dumb pick.
But word, somebody will have to get traded. Somebody will get traded.
Because AJ could easily become,
what if he's good?
This year's Aaron Rodgers, where he sat behind Brett Favre for a few years and becomes balling.
Real talk, the Chargers did that to themselves. Where they drafted Drew Brees. Drew Brees had a good year. The next year he got hurt. Then they drafted Phillip Rivers. And then they had to get rid of Drew Brees for virtually not much. Because now Drew turned to be a superstar that probably is better than Phillip Rivers. But you already drafted Phillip Rivers now to be your
Now
franchise,
you have to
and you
keep him.
traded to
You have to keep Allen. So now we'll see.
And the Chargers never won a Super Bowl, so we saw how that played out. What Drew Brees did.
And Buffalo hasn't won one either. So
I mean, Tyrod Taylor might end up winning the Super Bowl, but hey, the Browns did some more funny shit over there.
So it's just pretty much next year we're gonna be talking about these same couple of teams in the first half of the draft.
Quite possibly. So I mean, moving on, number 8.
You got Chicago picking up Roquan Smith, linebacker out of Georgia.
Another home run.
I like this. I think due to the fact of where they were, and I know they needed offense.
Yeah, they could have used a wide receiver,
but I don't think any wide receiver matches this. I don't think any. Like I said it before. Y'all can hate me, whatever case may be. I don't think no wide receiver in this draft was first round worthy. Really, like. Let me put this.
I don't think
they weren't top 10 worthy in that type of sense. That's what I mean to say.
Completely agree.
Because first round is 30 teams, I can't say that.
Okay.
There was a top 10 worthy.
I thought they had first round talent.
They had some first round talent.
Sutton and really.
But like mid to later round, mid to late first round.
No, definitely not no top 15.
I think this draft was really full of defense. So I think if you ain't going offensive line, I think it's best to let you go defense. But who am I? Roquan Smith showed the biggest upside as far as the linebacker position, and I think moving forward from Danny Trevathan, who's had been struggling with injuries, he can plug it into that Mike linebacker position very easily. He can go into the weak side, strong side. You can throw him anywhere, and he's just going to make tackles. He's going to make plays. I think he's best at either weak side or Mike, for the simple fact that he's descendable in coverage.
He's going to play Mike, though.
The only problem is his play in coverage. That's the only thing that's.
But he's fast though, so if he could get improved a little bit, he reminds me a lot of Ray Lewis. Like to me, like he's the one that like flew off. When I first was looking at these draft picks, like during the college season, like he's the one that to me I was thinking first pick of the draft. Like flew off the tape. Like you could tell he's going to be a star in this league. Like that kind of like player. So I think for them, the fact they have Brian Urlacher and Mike Singletary, like that's the right franchise for him. I thought the right franchise picked him. I think he gets the right situation, and it's a home run pick. Like Trubisky's not gonna have a good defense for his career. You can guarantee that through Roquan Smith.
The Bears had a good defense coming into last year.
Who's the linebacker? The defensive linebacker they picked was
Leonard Floyd.
Leonard Floyd. I wanted the Giants to draft him, but it's the Bears that got their hands on him.
So he had 7 or 9 sacks his first season. I think last year he kind of regressed a little bit, but I think now coming in, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna
stay healthy. That's all.
And then we have number 9. This one skipped before. San Francisco 49ers picking up Mike Gesicki. Blinsinchi. Sorry,
don't want to boot it, but offensive tackle out of Notre Dame.
Again,
I thought he wasn't that good.
I think Nelson made his tape look better.
Yeah, I thought.
I've seen a lot of tape where Nelson was help on double teams and a lot of chips on the players that he was running on. But at the end of the day, I still think he is a top good. He is a good offensive lineman.
I think he is, but I thought they had 2 linemen that they could have had that were better offensive lineman talents. When I'm
Connor Williams,
I'm not gonna use Connor Williams, which is the one that came to mind first. But I'm just thinking about Frank Ragu. Like as talented as he is, you know what I'm saying? Even Will Hernandez, who got fell to the second round. Like the both of them to me were better than McGlinchey. I thought McGlinchey just got more hype because he was next to Nelson.
But I don't think they. I think they needed more of a tackle than of a guard. So I see why they would go for tackle. So it's either him or Colton Miller. So that's why I'm saying.
But I didn't think that Connor Williams to me is better than both of them.
But that's why I said Connor Williams. I thought Connor Williams could work.
Miller and
I thought Connor Williams could have worked. Yeah. Mainly for a right tackle or left tackle. I don't know how you could have plugged him in, but I think he was a little bit better than.
But I mean, the reason. Okay, so for me, I didn't like this pick much. One, I thought that they could have got an offensive lineman of that similar talent in the second round, and at this pick, I thought they could have did better actually getting a corner. Like I really did need some secondary. I thought Mika should have been drafted here. That's when I saw the board and I was looking at it, I thought Mika was definitely going here right. I thought it would have been a perfect pick for them. And when they passed on Mika, I'm like, this is a mistake. Because you could have got, say, Connor Williams, who to me is like the same level as this player, in the second round. And now you probably didn't get Mika. Somebody probably could have been a huge help to what I have there already. Or even You know what I'm saying? Traded back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Got a pick and then added a wide receiver.
There's a lot. I do
So
like.
I didn't love this pick. I thought it was a solid pick.
I think it's a solid pick just for the fact that I like it for the simple fact that if you have your quarterback coming in, their offensive line did need help. They gave up a lot of sacks, they had to do a lot of quick throws. So I think offensive line.
I thought this was a need. I think this was a need.
It was a big need.
It's a good pick.
The reason I don't think necessarily they needed the corner. Not only because of Richard Sherman, I do like the.
That's right.
They picked up Richard Sherman.
I'm sorry.
They got the safety Robert Tart.
I'm thinking more Derwin James.
Oh, okay.
I thought he could have also been a pick hit.
But then also
Derwin, I thought could have been.
I also don't think they needed a safety too because they had Robert Tart who actually had a pretty good rookie season last year.
Kaepernick's man.
Oh yeah, they did come, but they have somebody else out there too. I forget who they picked up. But and then they also have Akila Witherspoon who they picked up last year too. So I don't think they really needed secondary that much.
I just thought those players were just too good to pass there.
Yeah, I get
those top 10 players.
But I like the
you could have got to me an offensive line of that talent in the second round.
I think offensive line was a good choice, but I don't know. I still kind of like
Connor Williams.
I kind of like Connor Williams a little bit better. He might not fit in their play better. Maybe that's the only reason I'm gonna say. The fact that they went offensive line, I like the pick.
So moving into number 10, we had the Arizona Cardinals draft quarterback Josh Rosen out of UCLA, and he had a lot to say right after he got drafted.
Traded Arizona Cardinals traded from Oakland Raiders to pick up this pick, which I think Oakland should have kept this and picked up Derwin James at this point because that safety really needed help. Back there, they really need.
I thought,
but I don't know. They traded.
I thought defensive talent would have been more sense here for the Raiders, and I thought there was definitely some options.
They could have went anywhere. They could have went anywhere, but they decided to trade the pick. Trade for picks.
There's another linebacker that was out there too at that time.
Tremaine.
I thought there was other things they could have did here that would have made cool, but then they made the trade, and I thought it's what you do with the trade that I'll judge them on, and I think they made a bad pick.
Josh Rosen, I did like. The reason why I think Josh Rosen for this team makes sense because you're coming from a team that had what was it, Palmer, Drew Stanton. These were your quarterbacks. Now the reason I bring up Drew Stanton and Chris Palmer, these are non-mobile quarterbacks that played in this franchise that was able to stay upright.
That's a good point.
And Josh Rosen is a non-mobile quarterback who can throw the ball. I think he's
the best player in comparison is Eli Manning.
So he can be in a situation where he's not worried about a shaky offensive line. He's not worried about a shaky. Only thing that's be the more question is that it's a brand new team, where as far as a new head coach, etc., etc.
I thought this was a home
run,
right?
He gets comfortable with a guy with Larry Fitzgerald, who's now transitioned from playing he's went from outside to where now 3 years of playing inside, and his numbers has only gone up.
Yeah.
And he's been a quarterback's best friend since he came into the league. Right. So for any rookie quarterback,
he's made Drew Stanton have decent numbers.
He's literally gonna help Josh Rosen be like, okay, he could be a talent.
And then later on, when they drafted Christian Kirk to go with it, but just sticking on this pick right here, I love this pick. I really did. I thought this was definitely an A pick.
They needed a quarterback.
I didn't think Josh Rosen would have fell this far, and I thought, yes, they did need a pick. And I thought they did what the Browns didn't do, right? Because Sam Bradford is clearly not Arizona's quarterback of the future.
Of course.
And I don't think, though, in training camp, I don't think any of the quarterbacks in this draft could beat Sam Bradford out, though. Whereas with Cleveland, I'm saying, Baker Mayfield could probably beat Tyrod right now. And that makes it a bad trade to bring in Tyrod Taylor.
Josh Allen and A.J. McCarron, we don't know where they sit.
Facts. Whereas the same Bradford, ain't no quarterback beating him in no training camp. He's going to be your starter until you're ready for that quarterback to take over. And they're going to learn from him because he's a good thrower of the ball. He's a solid quarterback. It's his health has been his problem, not his skills. So, Arizona, I think, they did well here. This is an A+ right here. Great pick, and I love Josh Rosen's, that Baker Mayfield competitive aggression that he showed. I love that Aaron Rodgers, you know what? I'm going to make them pay for this. They're going to feel it. These 9 teams that passed on me, they're going to feel it for the next 10 years. I love that. I absolutely love that. I love that from any player.
I love when they say that because I remember when I love when I love what any
That's better
player
than
just,
yourself.
just put it out there like, oh, yeah, I just messed up.
Like, I even love doing Kirk Cousins was like, you know what I mean? You like that. You like that. Like, better is, I love that. I love when a player bets on themselves and then comes out on the winning side. Because 9 times out of 10 they do. Because only you can actually
Like
push
confidence.
yourself forward. Like,
I remember when Myles Garrett said, if Cleveland does not pick me, they're going to hate that. And they picked him.
Yeah.
And they would have hated it if they missed him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player so far. And again, that's why the Bradley Chubb thing bothers me.
Sad.
So. But, you know, that was a great pick. We just move into number 11 there.
Miami Dolphins picking up Minka Fitzpatrick, safety, out of Alabama.
I like the pick. It wasn't a great pick, but I like the pick.
I like the player. I'll get more into why I didn't really like this pick as much.
Yeah.
But as far as I think he's right away he can help that defense.
Correct. I look at this pick the same way I do Sam Darnold to the Jets. Like, I don't really love the pick, but I'm not saying it's a horrible pick.
I just he's gonna be amazing talent in a situation where I just don't like.
Yeah.
I really just don't like.
Correct. And the same with Sam Darnold. I didn't think that's the best situation for him.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the same with Mika is like, this is not the best situation for him. But he's so talented. Like, he's going to be a playmaker wherever you put him in the NFL. And I think for that, the Dolphins still got themselves a playmaker. So I can't throw it as a bad pick. But it's a bad fit. And it's not the most valuable pick that they could have had in this particular position.
Okay.
I think they definitely could have did some other things like Harold Landry. I thought would have been the pick for them.
This is what I'm talking about.
Or even like the defensive linebacker that went right after, I believe. I think the very next pick, is it Payne?
No. Payne went two after.
But Payne, I thought defensive tackle would have made perfect sense for the
I thought
Dolphins.
they was going to go defensive tackle or edge rusher for the simple fact of
Exactly.
You lost Olivier Vernon 2 years ago.
And Cameron Jordan,
You lost Cameron Wake.
Yeah,
what is it? Cameron Wake is like 39 years old. Like I don't know how old he is. I'm sorry. I apologize. He's there with Julius Peppers. And then you've never. I'm sorry.
And just losing the
You just lost Dominic Sue.
Like just that alone.
So I thought Darren Payne, Vita Vey or Harold Landry. Like I don't know. I thought someone of this caliber.
I'm sure Vita Vey would be going there because I think he just looks the Miami style. Like he looks like he's a Miami Dolphin player already.
He would have been fit.
So again, I'm not gonna knock Mika because I really loved him. Like, I thought he should have went a little quicker than that. Like again, I thought Tampa Bay was gonna draft him 7th in my original mock draft, so it didn't happen. It is what it is. So I mean, I'm not giving this no good grade though. Not at all.
I can't. I like the player, but I don't like the way you got picked. Going next, we got Tampa Bay Buccaneers picking up Vita Vey out of Washington. I actually like this pick.
Sure did.
I like this pick. I think plugging him in with Gerald McCoy, JPP coming back. I mean, getting traded to this team.
Is it Washington?
Yes. Huh? No. This Tampa Bay.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. So I think with that line, and I don't know if you really watch. Like I don't know, like not to say you, but I'm saying like in general, like Vita Vey played special teams in Washington.
Yo, he used to be a soccer player, right?
Yes. He's a defensive tackle that played special teams.
He played soccer.
Do you understand how athletic you gotta be?
And he played soccer. Let's not forget that. He plays soccer.
That's a motor. That means that's a non-stop motor. If you can play, that's a motor.
That's like Warner Sapp. Like, because Warner Sapp had that same kind of.
So.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to like say that they're getting themselves another one.
But I'm just saying, when you have a Vita Vey and Gerald McCoy could plug up that hole, who is gonna block Alexander and Levante David?
It was a solid pick.
So I like that pick. I really do.
Definitely a good pick. Right behind it, you had number 13. You had the Washington Redskins select Daron Payne.
And I'm pretty sure they cheered because they were shocked Miami didn't pick these guys. So they were shocked. They both was like, "Whoa! I thought we was going to have to get one or the other."
Both of them.
The fact that they got.
But I thought Washington, like, they had plenty of ways to go in this pick, and this was a good pick.
Yeah, it was a good pick.
It's a good pick. I think good value. I did see him as like a top 15 player.
Mm-hmm.
So and then Alabama with all their defensive play, they plugged in day one ready to play.
Yeah, and he was so dominant in Alabama. I just think that that's just a great option with they have Allen to the side of him and So it's going to be nice.
I mean, the thing about him, I can't see any other player that would have been maybe a better choice here. Like I heard a lot of people say maybe he should have took a corner, and I'm like, but the corners that would have been available are not as good as the defensive tackle that they took in.
I don't think it's necessary at that point.
And then we move into what was a trade here.
Was New Orleans Saints.
Saints made a trade with the Packers, and got one of the better edge rushers in the game or in the draft, And defensive end Marcus Davenport out of UTSA.
This pick, I'm like, this is the only thing. I first noticed Marcus Davenport during the Senior Bowl.
Okay.
When I seen him in the Senior Bowl, it was between him and a dude named Andrew Brown. They were the two guys that were only just getting to the backfield countlessly. But then, when you look into the rules of the Senior Bowl, you're going to see, like, where it's kind of almost easier for you just to blitz. And then it's an offensive line that don't work together.
Okay.
So it's hard to determine who's coming this way when switching. And then, during the Senior Bowl, I heard Robert Cannell. What was it? Romeo Cannell. One of the glorified, the defensive coach of the Houston Texans.
Okay, Romeo Cannell.
Yes.
Or the former Patriot.
Yeah, and the former Cleveland, yeah.
Okay.
They asked him about Marcus Davenport. He said the kid needs a few more years. That alone told me he's not a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, that would.
That alone.
Yeah, I didn't even have that. I didn't have that information.
So that alone, that just stopped me and said, I gotta listen to the expert.
Right.
He's been a defensive guru for a long period of time, and if he's telling me that he's saying that he needs a few more years, he does work, but he just needs to wait to put Mouze together. He needs to get a little bit of stuff. Yeah. That means to me this is a second round, third round pick to me.
Correct. And I mean, I'm not. This is where I look at his pick. Like, I don't like the pick at all on his face. I don't think it's a good pick on his face. You traded up, you gave up a lot of value for a player that a lot of people didn't have really valued in the first round. So that makes it look like a reach, and then it's a player that a lot of people felt like still needed more seasoning. You know what I mean? So on that face, I don't like the pick at all. And then also because of my Lamar Jackson affinity, I'll clearly admit it. I thought like if Lamar Jackson got with Sean Payton, he would be the most dominant quarterback the league has ever saw. Yeah. So there was part of it that's me wanting it to be somebody else there, and the fact that a lot of people thought that was the pick, and Sean Payton had said that he had like Lamar Jackson. So the thought was like he's going to back up Drew Brees, and then we're going to get something special here.
Mm-hmm.
But so I looked at it like, again, this was a bad pick that you traded up and it wasn't Lamar. But what I will say about the pick in itself, as far as like how it applies to the Saints as a team, this is going to be a good pick.
Oh yeah.
As in like now with Cameron Jordan being a little bit older but still being effective, he could almost mold Davenport into the play, and that's what one of the weaknesses, the rare weaknesses that the Saints had all year.
Mm-hmm.
And they were one of the more complete teams across the board with Marshawn Lattimore is a corner stepping up, showing good. The running back with Kamara, the safeties looking like they were good. Drew Brees, so it was like everything was there. You know what I mean? They really just needed a good pass rush, and Jordan was getting old. So Marcus Davenport, if you even looked at all the players in the draft, made perfect sense to go to the Saints. Like they match up extremely well. It's just for them to trade up, give up value to get a player that probably
anybody else was going to take him if you stayed where you were.
That's what makes that makes the pick itself a bad pick.
That's why.
But as far as the player, the team, and the fit, money.
It could work.
He might end up with 10 sacks next year.
It could work because he's big. He can work with Cameron Jordan. You could get his game together. You could see he's only been improving. But my only problem is when I watched his tape, he don't dominate as much as I think he should.
It's gonna take him time. Like he might be one of those players that in 2-3 years
you're gonna be like, oh, same way that first round draft.
That kid is amazing. You know what I mean? But
then in 2-3 years he might get traded by then. So who knows?
He might never develop. Almost like Alden Smith was a high draft pick. Took him a little while to get it going. He got it going, and he had the off the field issues. But like the same kind of situation could occur here, and that's why you don't trade up for these kind of situations. You know what I mean? You could have waited for them. You could have got to when they got closer to you. You know what I mean? Because I think he would have still been available if it was like one pick away in the 20s. You know what I mean? You gave up a lot. The Packers jumped on that, and shout out to the Packers.
Dig it.
Right. So I mean, that's how that pick's gonna go out. Then we got number 15. The Raiders, who traded back with the Cardinals, they end up getting arguably the most athletic offensive lineman in the draft, Colton Miller out of UCLA, who blocked for Josh Rosen, who got drafted by the Cardinals that they traded to. So a nice little catch up.
It's a nice little thing right there. I guess it's a pick they needed in a sense, but I guess but my thing is when you go offensive line, I can't say you're wrong
at all. I mean, the same kind of problems I had with the Davenport pick with the Saints. when you trade and you make moves, and then you pick players that don't necessarily fit the spot that you move to. That's more or less the issue. So it's like if I could have if I could have ran across the street and got the bus at 12 o'clock, I don't need to be out there at 11:30. I could just wait till it gets closer to 12 o'clock, and that's the problem that I'm having here. Like you're wasting a little bit of value because of how you're approaching the pick.
Yeah, like I think also they could have went with Howard Landry
or Connor,
or you could have traded back some more and just picked up a running back because Marshawn Lynch and Doug Martin got a combined age of 66 years old. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
But not to throw no shade at Cole Millen. He's probably the most athletic offensive lineman in the draft. He's known for his athleticism. He's a rare size dude, 6'9", 300 pounds. So he definitely might be a good player for a long time.
Yeah, but he's only plugging into a team that already had a pretty solid offensive line. So I thought they was going pass rusher.
Correct.
But because Khalil Mack lately has been getting slow starts because he's getting double teamed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You bring in another person that could probably relieve that double team and probably helps out their defense, which was ranked towards the bottom last year. So I thought that would have been more of the help. Majority of their offensive flaws last year were drop passes.
I mean, the player I had for them in my draft was Quan Smith. So the fact that they moved back and they didn't get him, I thought they would have took probably Malik Jefferson, Tremaine Edmonds, who actually got picked right after him.
Yeah.
And I would say the next pick, number 16, the Buffalo Bills, they selected Tremaine Edmonds out of Virginia Tech. Mm-hmm. Some thought that he might go as high as 8 or 9 in the draft. He eventually fell back, and the Buffalo traded up with the Ravens to snatch him up, which I thought was a great move.
I think it was a great pick. One, because I know the upside about him is that he's so rangy.
Yeah.
He's very fast.
He's
very talented. And he's only 19 years old. Now, he's only 19. He barely got facial hair.
Yeah, he got beast in him already. So he hasn't got his man string yet.
So I'm just saying.
So I think he could be a special player.
I think it's a great pick for them just for
F they develop it. F.
You know what happens in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So
F they develop it.
Either way, I think it's a great pick, great fit.
It made the Josh Allen pick to me better.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like the pick so much, but after I saw this, I started feeling better about that pick. That's how crazy that is.
You get a little iffy.
So, I home run pick. I like that one. So, number 17, another home run. Some kid that just fell. Cam Chancellor levels player. Number 17, the Los Angeles Chargers were able to get Derwin James out of Florida State. Some thought that he was a top 5 player.
I thought he was a top 5 player.
He was one of those players that I thought, do have that all-pro look from tape. That was going to be a playmaker. Almost like Landon Collins to me. Landon Collins from college and tape. You knew he was going to be a playmaker wherever he landed.
It doesn't, and he's a person that he doesn't have, there's no such thing as a fit.
Nah.
He fits everywhere.
He's what you call a football player.
Yeah.
That's one of those rare things where he's a star football player.
Like, it doesn't matter if you play 3-4, 4-3, Tampa 2. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. He is going to be able to fit wherever the situation he is.
And I said he reminded me of Troy Polamalu. Like that level kind of star ability from the safety.
I actually had him as the top safety over Minka.
As a safety, yeah. I thought Minka was more of a defensive back.
Yeah.
Like he's a secondary star.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a great position where James he's a safety.
And I think
there's no question.
But I don't even think it's not even no question because he almost reminded me of St. Louis pick of a few years ago, Mark Barron, where he came in as a safety, but now he's starting as linebacker. Yeah, because I think Derwin James could go as safety or linebacker to the point that where he is just he's very hard hitting.
That's why I said Cam Chancellor.
Yeah,
he could definitely sit in the box and handle his business.
Easy. So, and I don't like him so much back there.
And the reason I also love the pick, who they have in the front, and the fact that he's a ball hawk, you might not be able to run against this team. Period. Just what they got up front, and you add him in the box.
Because the one problem was the Chargers was run defense.
And they got Hayward that could pick you off with that pass rush.
The run defense has been plaguing the Chargers for the last 2 years. They've been last in run defense for a while.
But they had good pass rushers.
They never had a nose tackle. So now I think going into this situation, they have no nose tackle going in. No real linebacker that can really help that running. You get Derwin James who can help also with your passing as well
as the run game.
As being the 8th man in the box.
And he was definitely helping the run game.
He's definitely going to help.
That's a promise. And then I said Cam Chancellor.
You don't even need him back there, really, because you already have a great great corners, great backfield already.
Yeah. So that I thought it was great. Shout out to the Chargers. Then we got number 18, the Green Bay Packers. They came up a little bit and they got cornerback Jair
Alexander.
Who's a teammate of Lamar Jackson. He actually got him on clip, almost crying when he found out that Lamar Jackson got drafted. Like, it's a very, very nice clip to watch of a teammates, sharing a bond at the NFL draft.
I thought Jair Alexander had a great 2016 season. Unfortunately, was played with a lot of injuries into 17, so that's
made him drop.
That's my main concern. But when you see him play, this is the thing why we brought him. So I'm going back a little bit with Denzel Ward.
Mm-hmm.
This is why he kind of like they're similar players with similar attributes.
Yeah.
But I think Alexander is more physical.
I think Alexander's a better player. It's just he was hurt last year.
That's it.
Now you're not sure.
He's strictly more physical.
But if he came out in 2016, the both of them came out together, Alexander's a better player. Like, he's probably not even probably. He's getting drafted before Ward. So that's just the reality of that. So for the Packers, I thought this was a great pick, but then it starts to feel a little different later on. But this pick alone, I was hyped for.
Yes.
Alexander with King, I thought was going to be an amazing situation. So
I like it.
It's a great pick.
And then the next one, we have the Dallas Cowboys picking up a name you can probably hear a lot, especially in Dallas Nation.
Vander Esch.
Langton Vander Esch out of Boise State.
I'm actually hear his name more because I think I'm butchering that. But
I think if I'm not wrong, I know he's the first time a Boise State player has been picked in the first round. Yeah. I think he might be the first Boise State player to ever been picked.
No, they had some.
So he might be just the first round.
There was a quarterback that had. All of the like 60 touchdowns in the year. He was in the fourth round.
Yeah,
can't remember.
I just had him on one of my lists. I've seen him too. I'll get that name when I see it.
But I mean, a lot of people I thought
I like this kid.
Yeah,
I think he's a
he went where I expected him to go.
Yeah, he went into the perfect situation. You have a situation where you have Jalen Smith. You have the injury prone Sean Lee,
and that's why I disagree with people saying that they have Sean Lee. Sean Lee's coming off of 2 straight plagued injury season, and then you know what linebackers when you start to get like my man the Giants had just traded for with the Panthers, and he was never able to come healthy again. He was a middle linebacker. He was with the Panthers. He had great years. And then the Giants had traded for him a couple years ago, and he just couldn't stay healthy for the last 2 seasons. I can't remember.
BJ Goodson? No, you talking about recently? Or
this is like 2 years ago.
Casillas?
No, middle linebacker. I'll get him in a second.
Okay.
But
I'm trying to think of who.
With him, he's a direct example of Sean Lee. Where when you start becoming hurt that much, you know they don't got much. So you have to bring. And then Jalen Smith, he's known for coming off of a torn ACL. So, how do you really put all your eggs in your basket of those 2 linebackers when you have an option to get him, who's just as athletic, one of the most athletic linebackers in the draft?
And he's very fat.
It's a good pick, and I think he can learn from Sean Lee to be like Sean Lee.
Because I think exactly he's a tackling machine.
Yeah.
He's decent in coverage.
Yeah.
He could plug in as your weak side or your strong side. He could play all over that linebacker position, and I think that's going to be perfect. I think he most likely plays weak side, but
you can play either. So I just think him and Jalen Smith now become monsters. As a Giant fan, I'm not too happy about that. I'm not.
I think it's a good pick for them. Detroit Lions with the 20th pick picking up Frank Ragnow, center out of Arkansas. I think it's a good pick. I think he was the top center in this draft, and I still think Detroit could have had a lot of needs that they could have went, but I think this was a good need. I didn't think offensive line was their biggest need. They went within the last couple of years picking up a lot of free agents and drafting offensive linemen that I thought they could have went somewhere else, but I still think it's a solid pick.
Well, I thought this was a home run pick. First of all, I had this player ranked in like my top 10 of just pure football players. And I think with the Lions, I'm not for sure who the coach is, but somebody that came on board there said that they want to rededicate to running the football so Matthew Stafford's career could be extended, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that you would do is bring in this type of player. So I thought it was a home run.
It was the Patriots defensive coordinator.
Name right now. And the player that I was talking about that compared to Sean Lee's name is John Beeston. John Beeston.
Yeah.
Had some concussion.
Yeah.
The Giants traded for him, and he came in the first year. It looked like he had some potential to be with the Giants, and then he kept getting hurt.
There's another guy from Detroit that had the same freaking problem. I can't remember his name right now. But I see what you're saying. You keep when you have those reoccurring injuries, they're just gonna
because you're gonna be your job is to inflict damage, so you're gonna get hurt.
You're the main.
We even saw that with Ray Lewis on the back end of his career. He couldn't stay healthy
because
he kept breaking something.
You're only on constant contact, so you're gonna get.
So once you start to get to that point, you know what I'm saying, we saw that with Briggs on the back end when he started couldn't stay on the field. But in the beginning, when they're staying healthy, they're great.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta stay healthy to be great. Like my man Luke Keuchel with the Panthers. He makes a lot of those games. Like even when he gets hurt, he's giving you 11, 12 games a season.
But you know he's gonna keep. He's not playing 16. You already know that coming in. But
he's not gonna come from that position.
Yeah, I like that pick with Detroit. Especially what you said with the whole dedicated to the run. I think they need to. Throwing the ball 40 times and not scoring touchdowns doesn't make any sense.
I believe they lost one of their linebackers in free agents, doing their offensive lineman in free agency this year.
So I think they lost their guard.
Yeah, so it was like.
So it was a good replacement. So I do like the pick.
Absolutely love it.
Especially where they are. I do like it.
Absolutely.
Cincinnati's pick, Billy Price, not so much.
I liked it. I thought it was a very good pick.
I didn't like it so much because I
didn't build an offensive line that they lost so many players in free agency last 2 years.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. But I didn't like Billy Price. I'm not sure.
I see what you're saying. Isaiah Wynn, I think, was a little better.
Isaiah Wynn is better as a tackler.
Okay, I agree with that.
I guess you would stretch it for a center.
Yeah. Even
like I didn't really. I seen Ohio State.
Or even Hernandez, I thought was better than him.
I'm just saying.
He just wasn't ranked that high.
I just didn't like him that much. That's what I'm just saying.
That particular play was.
I think they wanted Frank, and because they lost Frank, they said we'll go with our second option. We're just gonna take him. So I think that's where they went and just went with center. So
that's all. So I need that. It was a solid pick, not a great pick though.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one was a great pick though. Number 22, Tennessee Titans. They it's a lot of trades looks like went on here, but they eventually end up with the Tennessee Titans, and they drafted linebacker Rashawn Evans out of Alabama. It was one of the better linebackers coming out of the draft this year. Day one starter type.
The reason why I really do admire this guy must be more because he's one of my top players.
Yeah.
But, well, I was just speaking now, but mainly because Rashawn Evans, he stayed in Alabama 4 years, only started 1 year, not due to the fact of the people in front of him.
That's right,
he couldn't get, and he could have left. He could have decided to transfer out, but he started to stick with it. Did everything he can to get on the field, and started and had an amazing season. So just off of that alone, I think you're getting an amazing player.
And a more fresh than your typical college linebacker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I love the pick. And I don't like the pick because we have to see this guy twice. So.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee had a good draft, man. For only having 4 picks,
they won what they had to.
And then number 23, New England Patriots, they got offensive lineman Isaiah Wynn out of Georgia.
And if you could watch this man block.
Very good linebacker. Very good linebacker. I think
lineman. Yeah.
Lineman, sorry.
Yeah, he is the fact that they lost Nate Soldier to the Giants, they plugged in another guy right in.
Lost? Nigga, we took that. But
it's really a take.
I think it was a good pick. The fact that the Patriots, are the Patriots, you can't think that any of their draft picks are well thought out, well looked at, and well scouted. I just thought that this was going to be Lamar Jackson. I thought that this is Lamar Jackson coming in. And then after they did this, I still thought the next pick was going to be Lamar Jackson. Because of how Belichick has been praising Lamar Jackson for the last 2 weeks. He threw me for the flip.
You got you.
Very good pick, man. Great pick.
The next pick, we have Carolina Panthers picking up this year, who I think me and my co-hosts agree resembles Steve Smith.
That's a fact.
DJ Moore. He spoke highly on him coming in before this draft.
Very good.
Wide receiver out of Maryland. I think you can plug him in anywhere. He's just a man.
Poor man's Odell Beckham. Like this kid has all the receiver skills that you asked for. He just doesn't have the size.
Yeah.
And that's fine because we've seen with Steve Smith, we've seen plenty of smaller receivers have excellent careers if you have the right toughness.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think this is probably the best option that Cam has had since Steve Smith. And I think he only had Steve Smith maybe 1 or 2 years in the beginning of Cam's career, and they put up some good numbers. So I think this is a great situation. I think Steve Smith himself even said this was a great pick.
He said he loved it.
You know what I mean? So I think he can even go over there and train him and help out.
He might.
And it'd be a good look. He could be mentoring over there. And I love Steve Smith, man.
Baltimore Ravens with the 25th pick picked up South Carolina tight end Hayden Hurst.
This is very questionable.
At first,
very questionable.
I actually had to go back and watch a lot of film on him. And I realized he has one of the softest hands as out of all the tight ends that I've seen in the draft. And I actually really do like this pick.
No, here's the thing. I think that he's a solid pick, but the fact that he's 25 years old and he does nothing elite, first round to me doesn't look like a good pick.
I see what you're saying.
That's all that I had about like.
Okay.
Like in the second round, third round, like he's a good player. Like nobody's knocking his skills. Like he's gonna be an effective NFL player, but you're 25. But you're already a senior, really, for the NFL.
I get what you're saying.
And like you don't do nothing well. You're a decent blocker. You have decent hands.
Yeah.
You're decent.
I think he has good hands. He's
maybe Todd Heap, poor man version.
But he's the decent blocker. I think that's a stretch call him a decent blocker. I don't think he should block at all. I'm just saying. Every time I see him block, it's not really a block. It's almost like he's a road block. He gets it's almost a slow up to the point that the person he's blocking makes the tackle. So it's not really a good blocker.
Well, I'm not even saying. But the only reason a lot of tape, I didn't do that. I didn't watch a lot of tape.
No, that's my only problem because I watched his tape as more as a catcher. Then I seen him as a blocker. And I said,
that's why I say Todd Heap in the sense like he's a poor man's Todd Heap.
The only reason why
Todd Heap was an adequate blocker, not good.
The reason why I like this pick because I think this pick works for Joe Flacco.
Oh, for sure.
That's why I like this pick.
From the Todd Heap.
Yes. Yeah. So then one and for Watson that they had when Flacco was at his best is when he had a 2 tight end set and he had a good running back. Ray Rice, Jamal, it doesn't matter. Ray Rice, it doesn't matter.
As long as he's
but even who was the running back they had last year? I can't think of his name right now. He actually ran.
He ran well.
He ran very well.
They played well.
But they have a 2 tight end set because Flacco coming into this like lately, his passing is not really that good as far as stretching the field as far.
I think Flacco's on the way out. Like he did a back injury.
It's almost hard to come back from that, especially at that age.
And the fact that he kind of rushed back just to prevent Kaepernick from taking his job. Because there was that rumor that
little did he know Kaepernick was not coming anyway. He could have waited.
He could have waited out. Yeah, I don't know. You hear nothing about Flacco. The next day he's on the field throwing passes again.
What the heck? He just had surgery 2 days ago. But I think Hayden Hurst is a perfect fit just for that team. And also, like you said, I see it's a second round pick. I also think it's not bad for the fact that this is a later of the first round.
Not to mention, I thought he's not going to tight ends are better than.
He's not going to make it to when the Baltimore want to pick him again. So that's the reason why I do like it. If they did like this guy and they believe he would fit in their offense, which I think he would. Yeah. I do enjoy. I like. So
I think it's a good pick. As in, I think it'll work out. Like let me get it fit. Like I think this is a good fit. Mm-hmm. I don't think this is a good pick. Like, let me rephrase that back. Okay. Like, this is an excellent fit. Horrible pick.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Then we have a 26 Atlanta Falcons picking up Alabama's wide receiver Calvin Ridley, who.
Oh, this is fucking scary.
I think
like, the best receiver.
I think you just allowed Atlanta say, "Hey, we're trying to go back before Matt is on his way out," because
like, they could end up being like, remember the what was that, the greatest show on turf? Like, because the running backs they have over here is Marshall Faulk. Like they got 2 of them. Like,
if they could just learn to run the ball,
Julio, and you got
Calvin Ridley.
Oh my Jesus, man! And they just read up my man Matty Ice 5 years, what, 90 million?
Yeah.
So it's like,
so they just
all together.
They just said, "Oh, yo, you coming back because you gotta get this boy ready."
I know, so I want to throw a shout out to that GM, Thomas Dimitrov. Mm-hmm. I read the book of how he came up as a scout with the Patriots years ago. I was super supportive of him becoming the GM. The owner of that team is from Queens, a Home Depot dude. So like I was following that from the jump, and Thomas has been doing his thing. Yeah. And this is another draft in which it looked like he did his thing again.
I think they were shocked Calvin felted him.
I think everybody was.
So,
and me, Sutton I thought was going to end up going to them that late. They ended up getting probably who they wanted, which was probably like Sutton. I love Sutton. I still think he's the best wide receiver in this. To me, he's just the best wide receiver.
He's
and the rest of these guys are just.
He's best. He's
I'll take that. Like Des Bryant was a monster for a while.
Yeah.
Like, I think good speed when he first came in. Yeah. Like, you can't hold that up when you keep getting leg injuries.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the only situation.
And that's why I hope Des gets signed for the Giants, man.
And then we have
like with Brandon Marshall going, Des Bryant makes all the sense. You know when he plays against the Cowboys, he's eating whatever corner.
I think I texted you that day. I said, "Yo, I think Des going to the Giants."
I just said, "Yeah." I think I still got Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall posted something right. It look good for this guy.
So I'm just saying. I think after like towards like by the next later into this month or next month. We might
get Dez working out with Odell already,
and I saw that.
The fact that Brandon got cut, I didn't see that happening. I said they like Marshall, and then all of a sudden,
Dez is out. We gotta get this kid, and then you get Dez with a chip on his shoulder.
Straight up.
So
he don't need nothing. Like,
he don't even want the ball. He was like, yo, this just when Dallas come,
and he might win the Super Bowl, huh? Like think about Dez as the fourth option. Like that's better than most teams' second option.
We'll see.
And Odell, like that's good for Odell because like you're gonna be looking at Dez cursing at Eli. You're not gonna be looking at Odell like anymore. Like
you ain't gonna peep Odell hitting field goal posts no more.
Every time he gonna come, the media's gonna want Dez to talk, even though he's not even the main receiver. They're saying with Brandon Marshall. They were asking him every game, like, well, "What do you think about what's going on with Odell?" Why don't you just go ask him? But Brandon gonna talk. Like Dez is gonna talk.
That's exactly.
So I'm right now on the Dez to the Giants bandwagon. I hope it happens. If not, he should go to Dolphins. That's a good spot for him.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
We have 27. We had the Seattle Seahawks with an interesting pick with Rashad Penny, running back out of San Diego State. I thought this pick resembled Rawls that they had a couple years ago, where it's like, yeah, he's a small, agile back, but you sure you want this guy being your workload?
All right, so
with a running team that you already got rid of Jimmy Graham?
I think like this is one of those things where like Pete Carroll is a genius. Like that's the reality of the fact. And this is when it looks like one of those situations where he's trying to think so far out the box that he's thinking in his own. He's thinking on his own, which has no bearing on the rest of society. So for this pick, right? I think this is a great pick. Period. Like this is a great pick for the Seahawks and for what Carroll wants to do and what Carroll wants out of his running backs. Unfortunately, when I think of this player, I think of him a third round selection. So at this pick, this was a horrible selection. Like this is a D pick. You know what I mean? But as far as the player is concerned, this is a very good running back, and I think that he will fit very well with Carroll and what Carroll likes to do. But at the 27th pick in the first round, this man should have never even seen his name read off. That's just the reality of the fact.
Honestly, I thought that they was going to go running back. I thought two people.
Geis.
I thought either Geis.
I'm sure.
Only thing I don't remember Geis is
off the field.
His vision and off the field vision.
Like he just like to run into a wall.
Yeah, it just seems like he just doesn't see the jersey. I don't know.
Like, this is not
like you see that a lot. Like him, but I would say Geis improved from.
But I think Geis
from the year before.
I think Geis is more of the mold of Marshawn Lynch than even Penny is. So I still would have thought like they had a better option.
But I thought they were gonna go with my boy. If I get his name real quick, I'm sorry. He went. Karon Johnson. Karon Johnson out of
I think he goes there. Went to the Lions, right?
Yeah, went to the Lions.
That was good.
Which was a great pick for him. I think Karon Johnson has the patience and that running ability where he's a three.
When he get drafted it? Okay. Nothing against Penny. Nothing against him, yo. Like, nothing whatsoever.
Yeah, but...
You know what I mean? And we're going to talk further about this pick again. Like, I don't know what's going on over there in Seattle. Like, yeah, I'm hearing Earl Thomas is on the trading block. Sherman's no longer over there.
Yeah, they everybody...
Y'all got rid of my man. Bennett. Over-talking Bennett. Like, oh, my God. And the Eagles. They keep soaking up supreme talent. Like,
that's a team that...
If there's any team that I'm scared of in my division, it's the Eagles.
I said that last year. I said, I think Philly can make the playoffs last year. Yeah. It was like, I'm not sure. I said, I don't know. That team, that defense looks real.
Juwan called me after, like, they went 4-0, talking like, we win the Super Bowl. I'm like, relax, man. Carson Wentz is in his first real year. Like, nobody's scared of the Eagles this year. Now I gotta look back on it like, this guy has been talking trash to me since they signed Asamoah to the Eagles. And I was like, Victor Cruz is gonna light him up. Like, they won. Like, and he's still a young franchise quarterback. Like, Foles is not starting there no more.
Yeah. Unless Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz not playing in the Super Bowl.
I think Foles is better than Tannehill, though.
No, but
I just want to get that out there.
I think Carson Wentz not starting in the Super Bowl probably just changed Carson Wentz's playing style.
Okay. I'll throw another notion out there. I think he's better than Andy Dalton. I think Nick Foles is better than Andy Dalton. I think he's better than running Tannehill. I think Nick Foles is a very good quarterback that is a better starter than some of these players that got $100 million contracts.
He had a Pro Bowl season with the Eagles a few years ago.
And I told my man Juwan, y'all need to give more respect to the quarterback guru that y'all had before, that Yeah, ran out of there because he might have been racist. But y'all just ran him out of there. Like, what's my man name again? Like, what's his name?
The quarterback guru.
Yeah, the coach I was over there.
Andy?
Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly.
Yeah, he who got y'all Nick Foles and started all of this, and I don't want to give him no love because he was like, you're a little bit racist.
Let's see how they hate. We have 28, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like this pick for the simple fact that I think they needed defense. I thought they needed a linebacker or a safety, and they went with the brother of Terrell Edmonds, safety out of Virginia Tech. First time in history, 2 brothers getting picked up in the first round. That's pretty dope.
I mean, that's nice. I mean, I don't want to throw no shade on this at all. Like, first off, that's amazing. I thought, especially the younger brother getting picked before the older brother. I love that. Yeah, it's great.
But I was actually shocked in the first round.
Another situation where, like, when you look on your board and like you just shocked when somebody gets picked way off the number. Like, let's say you said this guy was a 4th round grade, right? And then you see him going 28th in the first round. You're just like, what? Huh? What happened here? This is like when Anthony Bennett got picked in the NBA first, and Bill Simmons screamed out, "Whoa!" We were all just confused, like, "Oh, who's he number 1 or who's board? Like, where did they get that from?" This is one of those situations. So it's like I didn't see this guy even as a 2nd round pick, and I think like the Steelers are treating this like a 2nd round pick, like it's 28, it's basically a 2nd round pick. So let's go ahead and get the play that we would have taken it deep in the 2nd round.
That's how this is what I think where they went, because I think their major need was linebacker, and I think the linebackers they needed were not around.
Really? Like
I think
Malik Jefferson wasn't on the board?
I don't think they like Malik Jefferson. So I think they really
Justin Reed wasn't on the board?
That's who I thought they would have went with. But I thought that's what they were going to go with. But they decided Terrell Edmonds.
But man, I
like the kid.
I'm not even going to knock.
He's a ball hawker. But
I'm not even going to knock the Steelers again. They've been successful for a long time.
So he must play
and they
play.
I respect wholeheartedly.
So that's what I said. They needed a safety. They went and got the safety.
There's one time, like, this is the switch between Baker Mayfield and Cleveland and this selection here. As bad as I think this selection is, I think this player has a much better chance of having a successful career than Baker Mayfield does. You know, I think Baker was in the right selection. He was supposed to be the number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
But going to that organization, in that situation, I'm not sure he's going to be successful. But this kid, going to those guys with the Steelers, even though it's a bad pick to me, and based on everybody else with talent to this kid, I think he'll be successful. Just because I think the Steelers know what they're doing.
Yeah, okay. We have a 29, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, yeah.
Picking up Florida's defensive tackle, Tavin Byron.
Oh, yeah.
The very dominating tackle. For 1 year, he kind of resembles Kyle Williams or like Marcel Darius, who he will be playing behind.
Calais Campbell.
So I guess it's another pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars to continue with that defense going on.
Building the front. I mean, I think to me that's the way you build the actual football team. Yeah, I think Tom Coughlin, shout outs, is doing his thing. I thought it was a Tom Coughlin pick, and this made sense. He was rated very highly by a lot of people. It's only the fact that he only has 1 year of production is why a lot of people are skeptical. But he had first round talent on tape. It's just he didn't have that for 3 years.
That's the only problem. That's my only issue with it. But
moving to number 30, we had the Minnesota Vikings guy who a lot of people thought was the best cornerback in the draft.
Mike Hughes.
Mike Hughes out of UCF.
Yeah, he was.
And for those Vikings that already have so much defensive talent, this becomes a scary selection.
I think it's good because they re-signed Terrence Newman, 39-year-old. You have Xavier Howard over there. You need another corner to come in and step in. And you have the Harrison Smith and Sanjeo playing safeties. I think it's a nice pick. They probably need to reflow that line who are getting older, but I don't think anyone in the draft made sense at the first round. I didn't think Howard Landry fits their format. They're a 4-3 defense, but he's a 3-4. I think he's more of a 3-4.
And I think that's where maybe the Saints might have wanted to jump somebody.
Yeah.
They would have took Davenport.
Yeah.
They would have took Davenport.
Yeah, they would have taken Davenport. They probably would have taken Davenport.
They would have took him to Davenport.
Because he would have been just like with Griffin and Daniel Hunter.
Fact. So and that's why I look at the Saints like Davenport should have been in the league for sure. You know what I mean? Not where they got him at. So we got 31. We had the New England Patriots select running back Sony Michel out of Georgia. One of the most elusive backs in the game, but very reminiscent of the old Patriots player that they just let go, Deion Lewis.
Yeah. But pretty much just what Patriots did in this first round is replace the same people they left
For the cheaper quotes.
for a cheap and for 4 years.
You know what I'm saying?
So Sonny Michel also the fact of out of all the running backs, pretty much out of all the running backs, he's probably the most healthiest due to the fact that he only had
And he
had rotating roles
with
Nick Chubb and Swift.
Yeah,
There.
3 backs.
So 3 backs. So
2 very good ones.
So yeah, I think it's a good pick as far as running back especially for this situation. Last year I got to see more of tape of him where he got more dedicated to pass blocking, and I think this is what probably drew him more to the Patriots
over the other names like Geis and
yeah, because
Chubb.
He took more passion where he would like almost drop into that pass brush, and you'd see him run into a linebacker and say, "I'm taking him out."
Oh, yeah, I
think that was just almost like, oh, we got Tom Brady back here. We need somebody willing to do something like that.
Correct.
So
that
was
like,
automatic.
This is allowing them to to play the game that I think is a winning formula, where it's like you got to be able to balance an offensive game, and you have to have a running back that can carry the ball 20 times and has all the running back threats, but can also block, catch. He fills all of those bills. Like I feel like he might be almost back to the Corey Dillon age where they had 1,000-yard rusher that you fed.
Mm-hmm.
Like he might eventually be that guy because he has all the skills to be an actual feature back.
And the super part about it is that you don't necessarily know how high he can go because you've never seen him as a starter yet.
The fact they had to split time. And that to me again makes it a home run pick.
And then he goes to a team where he most likely will split a little bit of time as well. So he's gonna adjust into that situation because he knows most running backs or players, they used to being starters. When they go into switch time, like
he's already adapted to it.
To go into a player like
whereas Deion Lewis probably didn't like the fact that he wasn't getting 30 carries, he wasn't the main back anymore. In college, he was that guy.
So then you go into a person like, all right, to go even further back, like to Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
He's a main player. Now he's going to a team where he might have to rotate. So it's going to be different where, I got to stop.
But they see him as a third down back. So it's like he will get 20 carries.
So yeah.
He's going to be splitting some time.
He's going to be splitting some time because Stewart's going to demand it.
Oh, yeah. Not to mention Goldman. Yeah. He's going to get some runs.
So, and then the final pick, I'll let you say it.
For the 32nd pick in the 2018 draft, the Baltimore Ravens selected quarterback out of Louisville, Lamar Jackson. Which will be
that ended the night great, I think.
Yeah, for everybody.
Because we really thought, because after going past the Patriots, the 31, I said it's over. Philly's not picking them up.
I thought the Saints and the Patriots is like the last team that's gonna get him. And I was like, yeah, they really did this to this kid. Like, I didn't even pick. Like, I literally moved on to the basketball game. Like, I wasn't even watching the draft no more. But then I hear my thing go through and it says like Lamar Jackson just been selected. I switch back to the channel and be like, I see him there shaking the hand. I'm super hyped. Like, this ended the night perfectly. He went to the perfect place for him. Like, Ozzie Newsome is the perfect person to actually develop him. The GM that's actually going to be the mentor that's going to take over Ozzie is on board. Like, it's clearly going to want Lamar to be the player that defines his tenure as a general manager. And for Ozzie, this is the perfect way to end it out. And then the players that he selected around Lamar, the 2 tight ends, Andrews and Hurst, are just great selections. And then the wide receiver that they got on the back end. Excellent draft. But this is the end of the draft. Well, I thought this was a home run.
Yeah, I like
A+, you know what I'm saying? A+ fit, A+ value. You probably got arguably a top 5 pick in most drafts. Because if they say, like, this is RG3 and Michael Vick, this would have probably been a top 5 pick in most drafts, but they had a lot of other quarterback prospects that people liked. So they got probably a top 5 pick 32. They got a first-round talent and a tight end. But for just this pick, they got enormous value, and then they got enormous pick in it. And again, they needed a franchise quarterback for Flacco.
And I also think that this pick makes the Hayden Hurst look even better.
Oh, it did. It made it feel much better. Much better.
Yeah, because now you see, like, okay, we got a guy that can play in there. Mark Andrews. I like it.
Correct. So that was a breakdown of each one of the first-round selections. So now we'll go into, say, like, the actual top 5, quickly the top 5 picks that we liked out of that first round.
Mm-hmm.
I'll quickly go with my top 5. Number 5, I had Frank Rago, the center. He was, I believe, the 21st pick.
Mm-hmm.
19th.
You said who?
Frank Rago.
20th
pick to Detroit. That was my 5th best pick. I thought it was a home run. I think he's going to be a supreme pickup for Detroit. Number 4, I have Derwin James to the Los Angeles Chargers. I believe it was the 17th pick. That's my
Mm-hmm.
fourth best pick in this draft because I just think you're getting a potential All-Pro player at the 17th pick that fits what you needed with the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Home run pick. Number 3 for my top 5 picks in the first round of the 2018 draft. I got Quentin Nelson to the Indianapolis Colts. I believe that was the 6th pick. I had Nelson as the best football player in this entire draft. The fact that they were able to get him to 6, and the fact that he's a need that they've needed ever since they drafted Andrew Luck, is a supreme selection. A home run selection. One of my favorite picks in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Then the number 2, my favorite selections in the first round of the 2018 draft. Roquan Smith. I believe he was the 8th pick to the Chicago Bears.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just followed the legacy that they have there. And this is one of those legacy fits, iconic fits. This is like when they drafted Brian Urlacher, and they knew he was one of the best prospects for linebacker in the draft, and that he could follow in the Mike Singletary mode. And he did. And now this guy, Roquan Smith, might follow in Urlacher's footsteps and Mike Singletary's footsteps. And it's funny, Mike Singletary, I believe, was on board with the selection. And you heard him actually call one of the draft picks for the Bears, not the Bears, I think San Francisco later on in the actual draft.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a home run pick. And then my favorite pick, of course, of this draft, number 1 pick in the first round, and probably the best pick in the entire draft. Number 32, Lamar Jackson going to the Baltimore Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a supreme fit for Lamar Jackson. I think it's a supreme fit for the NFL. Because, I mean, you still want superstars. You still want exciting players. And what he will bring, if somebody can able to bring out his skill set well, is that kind of Michael Vick excitement that we haven't seen since, Odell Beckham kind of brought that back. That kind of freakish excitement. Adrian Peterson had that for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have Lamar Jackson. He's another freakish talent that, even if he does get hurt, you can have like an RG3 little flair of like superstar playing. And I think the right coach is there, the right system, the right city in Baltimore. Baltimore needs a star like this. They definitely need a star like this. Like, now Ray Lewis is no longer there. They got John Wall over there, but for a football team, they needed this kind of player to represent them. And I think this is a supreme pick. So that's my top five. Honorable mention, I want to throw in Saquon Barkley to the Giants. Great pick. And I also want to throw in DJ Moore to the Panthers with an honorable mention. I think that's going to be, niggas going to be shocked at how well he turns out. He might be a fantasy superstar because of what McCaffrey can open the field for him.
Okay.
That's my top 5.
I like that. My top 5, I think I want to start with number 5, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Vita Vea pick. I like that pick. I think that's a very interior, a Warren Sapp-like-ish type player. I think they instantly improved, even though Tampa Bay, I thought they would have did better last year, but I do like this pick. I think it's a great way to plug up that middle. And they had trouble, like, with their pass defense that had struggles. I think with this player, that adds to the point where the other players they added, like, it helps the running game as well as the pass game. Number 4, I'm going to go with Derwin James to the Chargers. I love that pick. I think Derwin James was the best safety in this draft. And he went to a team that needed a safety as well as a run stopper, and they got both as in one play. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Ravens Lamar Jackson pick.
Okay.
I like the pick just as effective. I think he went to the best situation possible.
Okay.
The best situation possible. Number 2, I'm going to go with the New England Patriots with a double pick. The fact that they picked both Georgia players,
it's a fake.
and Isaiah Wynn and Sony Michel, where they are just familiar with each other automatically.
That's a wow. Shout out to Belichick.
So it's just like you just got people just comfortable right away
The
to plug right in.
Oh, wow.
It's just amazing. I think that just
That's a good point.
It just calls for just an amazing situation there. And then I have a shared number 1 because I don't know who to give it to, Bo. I got the Chicago Bears with Roquan Smith because I think that's a great place, and I got Bradley Chubb with the Broncos.
Word,
because that's
a home run.
That's almost 30 sacks off of 2 players in the first season.
Right about that, like the Denver Broncos tight, right? Like,
And then honorable mention, of course, I got my Colts picking up Quentin Nelson. That was just, I think we needed that. That was a definite need, and it just had to happen.
right?
I love it.
That's a dope top.
Oh, and Atlanta Falcons of Calvin Ridley. Perfect fit, perfect placement.
Dope.
Yeah.
So quickly go into the top 3 teams that we love their draft. So we got the top 3 teams that we love their draft, and then we're gonna do the 3 teams that we didn't really like their draft.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start off with the top 3 teams that I did like their draft. So I'll start off with the Denver Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the Denver Broncos had a supreme draft. Like they started off by picking Bradley Chubb. I thought that was a hell of a pickup. Then later on, they was able to get Cortland Sutton, who I think is the best wide receiver prospect in the draft for me. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you don't know how long Emmanuel Sanders and what's the other gentleman that's the wide receiver, the star wide receiver they have over there,
Demetrius Summers.
Yes, you don't know how long they'll play in the league at the levels that they do. So bringing in Sutton, I thought was a great pick. I thought they had a phenomenal draft.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I want to actually see the whole draft real quick.
I got you. Who you said?
The Denver Broncos.
I don't know if you can get. They had Cortland Sutton, Deshaun Hamilton, Troy Fumagalli, a tight end. Royce Freeman, running back. Oh, I do like that kid.
All right, so the reason I love so much of their draft, I thought that they brought in, like, every pick that they had, I thought was a solid pick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I really do like what John Elway's been doing, even to when he didn't pay Brock Osweiler, let him go, and then still got Brock Osweiler back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of his moves, make it Talib Cooley take a pay cut, and then let him go after that. Like, all of the moves that he's been making, like the Peyton Manning signing, like, giving him all that money even though people weren't sure the neck was right. They won a Super Bowl off of that. Like, I think Elway's just, he's been doing money since he took over that. And this draft was another one, like I said, Bradley Chubb, amazing pick. Then Cortland Sutton, second round. Royce Freeman, he was one of the better running backs. Got him in the third round. They got the kid out of Boston College, the corner, Isaac Yiadom. Ranks well, like, ranked as one of the better corners in the draft. Like, the linebacker out of Iowa ranked very well.
That was a very big steal for Denver.
Like, all these look like steal. The tight end out of Wisconsin ranked well, and they got him in the 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
The linebacker out of Iowa ranked well, got him in the 4th round. So I thought, like, he knocked this draft out the boat. It was a great draft. I just felt like, John Elway continues to do just a good job at just, picking plays, doing what's right for the team. Like, it seemed like he really knows how to put together a team. And the fact that I guess he was a star quarterback, he's picked that up well. Mm-hmm. So that was like my first guys. Honorable mentions, I'll throw out real quick. New York Giants, honorable mention with them picking up their first 3 picks, I think, was just home runs. With Will Hernandez, the guard, Saquon Barkley. I thought the Giants had a home run. Like, I felt Dallas did amazing for what they was able to pick up. They got one of the better wide receivers on the back end. And then they got a linebacker that I think will be able to mature and be mentored by Sean Lee to replace Sean Lee. They improved their defense. And then with Washington, I think Washington quietly had a great draft too. Mm-hmm. So, like, I think the NFC East became almost all good. Like, all 4 of those teams can be playoff teams. You have 2 teams that could be perennial Super Bowl contenders with the Eagles and the Giants. And Dallas and Washington are playoff teams in my eyes. So, but number 2, I have the Baltimore Ravens. So they started off by getting Hayden Hurst, who I thought was one of the more mature, very day one starter type of players. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think he was good at the first round. But the fact that they also got back into the first round and got Lamar Jackson, that make both picks turn out to be amazing picks. And to get Lamar Jackson, that pick alone makes you have a good draft. Not even a good draft, a great draft. In my eyes, I thought he was the best player or the best quarterback prospect in the draft. Not necessarily the best player, but a top 5 player. Had the highest ceiling in the draft to me. Then they was able to get Orlando Brown, tackle out of Oklahoma. I thought he was one of the best tackles in the game. Like, I thought he should have been a 2nd round pick. At worst, they got him in the 3rd round. In the same 3rd round, 3 picks later, they got Mark Andrews, the tight end from the same Oklahoma, who a lot of people had a 1st round grade on. Mm-hmm. Further into the draft, that players that I like, the wide receiver out of UCLA, Jordan Lacey. I thought that was a solid pick to get in the 5th round. The safety that they got out of Texas, the Deshaun Elliott, I thought that was a solid pick. So
Jordan Lacey played with Josh Rosen, and he's a good talent. He was his number 1 target.
So to me, it's like this whole draft, even the Everett, the corner out of Alabama, they got in the 4th round. I thought this was just a supreme draft.
Those on top, Kenny Young, the little linebacker that they picked up, is just a tackling machine. If you just watch this kid's tape, he's going to play very well, especially coming behind C.J. Mosley.
Okay, I didn't know too much about it. He ran that well. So I would
just watch this kid play, son.
Newsom definitely did his thing then. Like, I mean, I look at this draft like, yo, Newsom left him with a gift. This is like, he left him almost with a championship trophy. That's how great he knocked out this draft. Like, the Ravens had a supreme draft.
And he had an emotional last pick that was actually dope.
Facts. And then my 3rd one, I got to go to the Indianapolis Colts. Like, the things that your GM is doing over there, this draft is just money. This is cash money. I'm looking over the Darius Leonard for me. I don't know why no more people aren't up on him. I thought that he was definitely a 2nd round talent, but I thought he was underrated how good he was. He was, to me, Arden Key good. And the fact that he wasn't really being spoke on that much. And the fact that they turned around and just got him, like, they snatched him up.
I just love the fact that I've been speaking his name in my...
And then the Braden Smith pick, the guard out of Auburn, like, I thought that was a phenomenal pick. Right there in the 2nd round, you got probably maybe a fringe 1st round offensive like lineman, right there. So there was some other pick that I was really excited about. So Naheem Hines, the running back out of North Carolina State, that pick almost gave me chills. It's like I got him right when I should have got him. And people don't see how talented this kid is. Like, you don't understand. Like, he can actually be a starting running back. Like, they can give you 1,000 yards.
He's a Swiss Army knife that can actually run. He kind of
catch too.
He don't even well, his catching needs a little bit of improvement. I've seen a little too much.
He can catch,
but he can catch. But he kind of remind me of Eagles Corey Clemens. The way how they picked him up just where he's like, oh, are you just a slot? You just a pass? No, you can run the ball.
No, he can do a lot. Like, he's a versatile back. This kid almost ranked as
kick returner.
He almost ranked as well as Sony Michel in a lot of drafts. So, and to get him in the 4th round, that made the draft for me. Like, y'all already got to me the best player in the draft, Quentin Nelson. Y'all get Braden Smith, the guard, in the 2nd round. It could have been a 1st round talent. So y'all sort up that offensive line. Then you add a running back to shore up the running game with it. So to commit, like, yo, we're not going to fuck up Luck no more. We're going to give him a running game, and this is what's going to protect him. And then, on top of that, the kid Fountain, the wide receiver. I don't want to mispronounce his name. I don't want to mess it up. Right? But Darius Fountain out of Northern Iowa. A lot of people was not even his radar. But if you watch the tape, the boy looked like he got talent. So I'm just saying, like, after the draft, I already liked the draft. I actually looked at it. So it's like, but the receiver that I liked was a kid out of Clemson. Because he's been around for some years. He's put some productive years up. So the fact that they got him on the back end, like, I've seen his name for a couple years now. So that to me was a good pick to get him in the 6th round.
And he was shocked he went that far.
A lot of us were. I thought, like, 3rd round,
burst.
They got him in the 6th, so, like, maybe in the 7th round. Not in the 6th round. So, like, this draft was money. Like, this was money. They addressed everything they needed to address. You know what I mean? Other than probably getting a Mike linebacker, who I thought, like Raquan Smith or Malik Jefferson would have worked for the Colts. They didn't have to get him. Like, y'all can still sign somebody because y'all filled everything else up. And the fact that the GM seems like he got his sense on. Like, I respect this GM. Like, he's not making mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll make the right move. But those are the 3 teams that I thought had supreme drafts.
That's dope. I'll go with my 3 teams. Some honorable mentions. I like Baltimore. Denver was nice. They were good. New England. When did New England fuck up anyway?
That's kind of expected, right?
Yeah, it's like I could say New England, but
this is what they do.
But you know what y'all do. So I'm gonna start off with the Dallas Cowboys. I completely like their draft. I think within the last 2 years, they have just single-handedly just addressed what they needed, and they haven't been far off from
years.
Tops.
I think for years. When they built up the offensive line with the Tyron Smith draft picks, and there's one before that where they drafted. I can't get this thing right now. There's another one like the year before they drafted another offensive linebacker in the 1st round, but quietly for like the last 4 or 5 years
they just been
knocking out the draft, even the Ezekiel Elliott draft.
The reason why I like this draft was because mainly due to the fact of because I remember a couple years ago, a lot of people saying, "Oh, they got rid of Barry Church and this person." They refueled that defense where that defense came in together towards the end half of the season.
Because they were young. I
said that from the beginning. I said they're not gonna make the playoffs because that defense. I said it was a team
that's right. Prescott wasn't enough.
It's not enough. I'm not saying he's not. He can't start for them, but he's just not enough for a defense that's struggling. So he would have to put up 30 points a game. That's not going to happen. That's not Dak's game. So, but what they did in this year, they fueled that offense that needed it, and not only with the Langton Vander-Esch, which I did like, because they only really went their first round with him because they needed somebody in that spot. They picked up another linebacker who I did like in the late 6th round, Chris Covington, who can actually also play that coverage or that tackling guru. And then when they went to offense, they went to one of the guys that I actually put as one of my sleepers, Bo Scarborough, to play running back out of that offensive line that resembles the Alabama offensive line.
And then it was.
Are you kidding me?
If Ezekiel get hurt though, you need somebody behind him. Like they had to figure that out. It was too much that. Why they got him in the 7th round?
They got him late. So I love that pick. I also
got Connor Williams.
I also like the Connor Williams.
One of the better tackles.
And then the fact that they had a question about Connor Williams being such. They had the same question about La'el Collins. He'll be all right. I like the backup quarterback they picked up in the late round, Mike White. Yeah. Where if you see him in the Senior Bowl, you can just see he's one of those.
He's ranked high.
How can I explain? He's one of those just. You go with those comparison quarterbacks, but he's one of those like he's just mature early, where he just like he just knows how to put the ball in the right spot. Like like not even like that. Like a little bit, he almost has a ball he can throw deep too. So he's almost like a Dalton in a sense.
Okay.
I guess that one throws. He won't be the franchise quarterback, but he could be your quarterback.
I got it.
So
okay,
a subtle pick. And then with the wide receivers they picked up, first off, the fact that they picked up when they traded for Tavon Austin. When they traded for Tavon Austin for the Tavon Austin for as their slot receiver, and then Michael Gallup, who I think is going to be one of the top wide receivers in this draft. Yeah. I don't care what anybody tells me. He has the highest catch rating. I
had him next to Sutton, man. I know how people really. I think really has amazing speed. Yeah, but Sutton and this guy Gallup.
I still don't like Sutton that much. I still don't like Sutton that much. I'm sorry.
I watch the tape, player.
I like his. I see his tape, but
this kid got
I'm gonna fact, I'm gonna watch it again. But this kid, Michael Gallup, the reason why, to me, he is just a freaking. He led, I think, college football on 3rd down receptions. This right here helps Dak.
Oh, no, he was dominant, huh?
So he is just a person that can get open regardless. And I think he's that person that Dak needed. And then into the late 6th round to pitch up Cedric Wilson. I just like the kids. I like the kid's tape.
He ranked well high.
And
they still got a tight end too. That kid Schultz out of Stanford, they still got a tight end.
I like the dude that I don't think too many people know. What's his name? The tight end that they picked up. I seen him last year, and I was like, he's gonna be a beast when Witten retired, who just recently retired.
Right. It was last year, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna get some catches.
This guy, Rico Gathers. Just watch.
Look that up. I don't know nothing about that guy right now.
I seen him just off of preseason mainly, and then I seen him and I was like, this kid can play. This kid can really play, and he's a beast. I was like, all right, he can play.
I think Scarborough has so much potential.
He's just gonna be a back, and now the fact of with that offensive line,
with Dallas before.
No, my thing is with that line, that means that your defensive line is most likely not gonna touch him. That means that your linebackers and corners better be able to take that hit.
He remind me of Marion Ball.
You saw Rod Smith.
Yeah. With Dallas a few years ago, he used to split time with the other corner running back they had.
You said Marion Barber?
Yeah, Marion Barber.
Oh, and Felix Jones?
Yes! Felix Jones. He could bust out a 30-yard run like it's nothing. Yeah. But the end of the game was 78 yards. I just didn't understand that guy. Shout out to Felix Jones, though.
And then I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, I like their pick. They picked one of the decent players in the wide receivers, Anthony Miller. I think I like him as a wide receiver. He's a solid wide receiver.
Talk about him beforehand.
Yeah, he's a solid wide receiver. I think he's one of the top 5 wide receivers that out there. In his draft. James Daniel, right guard. I think that was nice to for Kyle Long. He's been his long illustrious career. He needs a replacement into that offensive line. Roquan Smith, we spoke about him a lot. Plug right into that offense. And I think so much of the needs weren't like, and then with their defense didn't really need that much of a need as far as players, because everyone on that defense is young. They picked up Aaron Lynch on free agency.
That's
Jonathan Bullard, Eddie Goodman, Akeem Hicks. These are names that you might not hear so much about, but trust me, they're talented.
But the center that they got for Trubisky, I thought he was one of the better players in this draft, man. James Daniels out of Iowa.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, it's gonna be I like the pick.
It's a good draft.
And then with my third, I liked it. The Atlanta Falcons picks.
Okay.
I think
they made their richer.
Yeah, they kept it. They kept what they did everything what they had to do. They got Calvin Ridley. Mm-hmm. They made sure that team is going to be fluid to go for the next few years. Mm-hmm. They picked up a few offensive linemen. Iddo Smith, I think he's a good talented back that can actually run with Dante Freeman. What's his name?
Sinet, right?
No. Okon Foyce? I'm sorry, but he's out of I think Yale.
Out of
Yale?
Okon
out of Yale?
Yeah. Linebacker.
This kid
wasn't even ranked.
Is talented. Just watch his tape. He's talented. And he's gonna be playing behind Deion Jones, and in that defense, he is talented. That's what I like about the pick. They picked the players who I scouted and I thought they were going to be good, and they have them. And then also with Isaiah Oliver as cornerback, I think that was just a great pick to put in there. Just for Desmond Trufant, who's up there in age.
True.
It just keeps that defense going. Mm-hmm. So that was my top 3.
Definitely. I mean, again, shout out to the GM over there, Thomas Dimitrov. I'm a fan. It's like one of my general manager idols. I hope to be as nice as him when I get there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what's up.
I'll give him. So I'm out of here. I'll give up my top 3 teams I didn't like.
Word.
One, it was not too many top 3, so I had to pick. It was really 2. My main 2. I really had 2. But my third one, I think I gotta give Houston the honorable mention because I think the other team did a little bit worse to me. Huh?
Yeah, you give them an honorable mention. Like I know they started but they have no first and second round draft picks.
So that's why I'm gonna give them an honorable mention because I don't think it's fair. They ain't have no real first round or second round pick.
That's on them though. Like that's part of you not.
That is true.
Like why don't you have your first?
Second round. The first one was for Deshaun Watson. I get it. And I think both was for Deshaun Watson. I think they had to give both picks for Deshaun Watson.
Like you couldn't get back in the first and second round. Like,
I don't.
You couldn't give nothing up. You couldn't buy nothing. You had no players available.
The reason why I don't necessarily like the Houston pick is because they didn't do enough of draft. I think if you have only a certain amount of draft, you fix that offensive line as much as you can.
They drafted the guard out of Mississippi State.
Yeah, they did, but then they don't have enough for that pass rushing, which was plagued with injuries with J.J. Watt and Merciless both getting hurt. Mm-hmm. I think you probably it's just going to be interesting how that team plays out. And then also in the back end, their defense really needed it. I think Justin Reed was a big help, but Aaron Colvin as a signee, I think that was a big reach. That's what I just think. I think he was a slot for Jacksonville, and you pick him as your number 1. It's a big reach. I think you thought you was doing the same thing with AJ Bouye that they did to you, and I think you just got the opposite end of the stick. Next, I'm gonna pick with the Miami Dolphins. I also did I say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I did like their pick. Oh man, but what up? Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I did like that pick too. But Miami. Picking Mike Gesicki, I like.
Word. And
Minka, I like. Not for your team, but I like the person. I think with your team, Tankersley, Xavier Howard, T.J. McDonald, these are people that have been TJ McDonald you have just picked up, but the rest of them they've been showing progress lately, and don't necessarily think you needed someone in the back end. You needed someone more of your front seven.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really like Jerome Baker that much. I think he's just like Stephen Anthony that you picked up in New Orleans. He's not that good at the coverage. He's just a decent tackler that's very fast.
True.
You traded for Robert Quinn, who's been unproductive in the last few years and been plagued with injuries.
Didn't work next to Sue, huh?
Didn't pick up nobody for Sue. Now, there is a guy, Davin Gachaku, that y'all picked up last year. I do like him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not Sue, though. But I do like him as a plug. He does good at run defense. Yeah, picked no one up for Cameron Wake and William Hayes, who are your veteran pass rushers who didn't really get to the quarterback that much last year. And you picked no one up to replace these guys.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, where's the receiver though?
And I'm getting there.
That's a little
because Gesicki's about to be the number one receiver there, like the last couple of tight ends in the last few years, because it doesn't make sense. And then your running back is led by the 35-year-old Frank Gore, the wide receiver / running back Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, somebody trying to get my man, what's his name? The quarterback over there, Tannehill, out of here. Like.
And then you pick no one up to replace Tannehill. His backup is Brock Osweiler.
So like Brock about to take over that.
Why not? Wide receiver, you keep Kenny Stills. You get Kenny Stills.
They want to pay Landry.
Devontae Parker, who's I think the only person that can find Devontae Parker was Jay Cutler. Which is weird.
You're a color retired to get him, right?
Of course. You pick up Albert Wilson. That was what they're... You pick up Albert Wilson from a Kansas City Chiefs team, which weren't high on wide receivers, and he was still the third, fourth option. And then Danny Amendola, who's also 35. I just don't know exactly what's Miami doing. I think it's just there for retirees. I didn't because you want to just sit there and go home and go to sleep.
I didn't see how they gonna get Amendola for it. It's like...
And they paid him money.
I'm a little confused. Like
they paid him money.
Those definitely got. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on over there. Like since Nick Saban left them, it ain't been right, man. It ain't been right.
I also didn't like Oakland's picks as well.
Oh, they definitely on my
they're on my mention, but I'm gonna pick them out of the third team. I know you might not like it so much. Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
I like DJ Moore for his talent that he is.
You gotta love DJ Moore.
But and I like the Ian Thomas pick. Those are two picks I only solely like. Only problem is, I can't say, I think they should have did more into this draft to help that defense. Because the cornerback position could have used a little bit more help. Dante Jackson, I'm not a big fan. I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan. He's more of he's very fast, but he's very handsy.
Yeah. Give him time, man.
Yeah, at best, he's Asante Samuel, which is pretty solid. But that's at best. That's a very stretch of a best. And when I watch his tape, I just see him. He's a cocky player, which I do like in cocky players. Yeah. But I don't think he backs it up too much. He wasn't the best corner. He's been dropped and switched around to different players of the corner position because of his lack of consistency in LSU. Tolliver, who I think that and him both were similar. Only reason why Tolliver is just not as fast. Their best corner out of LSU is going to be coming out in the next few years. His name is Greedy Williams. Watch him. This boy is nasty. You don't call a man greedy unless there's a reason.
That's a good nickname.
Amazing music. And then I don't think they did enough to help that pass rushing. They did get some late picks for linebackers, but they didn't get enough for pass rushing, which did plague their team. The Terry Poe didn't have a good season last year. They picked him up and got rid of Lutuet.
Okay.
But Addison and Peppers, I need to see more. I'm gonna need to see something from these guys for me to believe.
I respect that.
That's the reason.
I definitely respect that. I thought Carolina had a good draft. Could have been better. But, they just lost their GM that been over there for a while. And us Giants, we soaked that up. And we had a supreme draft with them.
So you can see the difference.
But I still thought, the DJ Moore pick was a great pick. And I think they got a linebacker later on that I liked. So, we'll see. But for me, though, three teams that I didn't like their drafts. I'll start off with my honorable mentions. I'm gonna have the Miami Dolphins for sure. I thought this D'Amica pickup was good. Then when you look at the entire team and the fact that there's no wide receiver that they drafted, that's a big omission. Like that's a huge omission. Like you signed Danny Amendola, who like New England was ready to get rid of because it was retirement time, and you bring him in and then you get rid of Landry, who was a star receiver.
Do you understand?
And you don't replace him. Like you didn't draft nothing.
Amendola has only been productive in the playoffs. Guess what? Dolphins, you gotta make the playoffs.
Like everything about that now, like now you bring it all out. The fact that he just didn't draft a wide receiver makes it just an ugly draft. Like, and you didn't address Adama Sewell even. Like the two biggest things, or maybe to me, the two biggest things. You have different priorities, obviously, but they're going to be an honorable mention for that. And also an honorable mention. A lot of New Yorkers might get upset with this when they hear this. The New York Jets. I'm gonna put them up there. Like again,
that was my honorable mention.
The reason I'm going to throw them as honorable mention is because I don't think Sam Darnold was even the top 4 out of these quarterbacks. I had Rosen, I had Baker, and I had Lamar rated above him. So the fact that y'all want to act like y'all got the pick y'all wanted, he's not much better than Mark Sanchez. Like let's just keep that 100. We saw Mark Sanchez's career play out, so we want to say hindsight 50-50, like, oh no, Darnold's a much better player. Like no. Let's look back at that time. Like Mark Sanchez was younger, was more productive in college, and went through New England and went through Peyton Manning during the times when they were their best. Can we say that for Sam Darnold? When we just seen him have over 25 turnovers at USC last year? I can't now say that that's a good pick over somebody like Josh Rosen or Lamar Jackson, because those are the 2 players that were available. Or even other particular pieces, because you traded up for this. I don't like it. You give up a lot, and I don't think he's somebody you give up a lot to get. Like, you know what I'm saying? If this is Bradley Chubb, that's a 101. Saquon Barkley, that's a 101. Quentin Nelson, that's a 101. Baker Mayfield, he's the best out of the quarterback crop. But Sam Darnold? And for people to say, like, the Jets got their guy, and this is the best, like, oh, if this is the Jets got their guy, this is the reason the Jets are who the Jets are. Like, literally, this is what it is. Like, Giant fans are screaming out for Saquon Barkley, and you hear Jets fans screaming at them, like, you got to draft a quarterback. Like, that's why y'all ain't win no championships.
That's a fact, though.
Alright, so that's an honorable mention. I'm talking too much about honorable mentions. Alright, and other honorable mention I got is Oakland Raiders. Just for them trading back and then getting a player that they could have probably got a lot further back. And then the rest of the draft, they just kept picking players that just wasn't sure that was a spot that you should pick them at. But, I mean, this is John Gruden first year, and like, he's been behind the film for a while. He might have some secrets that we just... you might be up on some plays that the rest of us not up on.
That's true.
So I hold a judgment on that. That's why it's the last honorable mention. Let's jump right in now. First and probably worst draft. Buffalo Bills. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, yo, they did draft some good players. Like, Harrison Phillips, defensive linebacker out of Stanford. Tremaine Edmonds out of Virginia Tech.
I like Taron Johnson, cornerback, too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, they did make some good selections, but trade up for Josh Allen, who nobody had this guy ranked as really a first round pick. Like, I mean, like, most people thought of him as a second round project. Just because he has a big arm, you trade up and you pick this player when you could have got Rosen. That's my problem. You could have drafted Rosen if you're going to trade up, and this would have been a fine draft. Say, if they'd have picked Rosen instead of Allen, and then you got Edmonds and the rest of this is a great draft. Just the fact that Rosen was there, you took Allen over him with that 7th pick, I ain't with it. It's a bad draft. Just like that. Because now you might have ruined Allen's career, and you might have made Rosen even more willing to just hurt you when he sees you in the field.
And yeah, to bring in a little bit to that, I did like their Bills draft, but I see what you're saying with that. But I also would have to mention the fact they didn't pick up a running back
at all.
You got LaShawn McCoy, and you picked up Chris Ivory, who combined age of 60 years old. You have 2 young quarterbacks and no real running game.
And if you want to go to Josh Allen, like, you didn't get a wide receiver to go with this quarterback that throws the ball long. Who's this long throw you're throwing it to? You have plenty of options for wide receivers in the 4th round that you could have went, and you ain't got. I mean, I like Teron Johnson. I think he's a nice corner.
Yeah.
But down the 5th round, you drafted
safety. He's not hit in the face.
Saran Neal. Look, I'm not gonna get into this all this. It's not a good draft. You know what I'm saying? You drafted Pro. Out of North Carolina with the 7th round. That's fine. But you could have did better in the 3rd and 4th rounds to address that more. So if this is the kid that you want, go ahead and get somebody like Christian Kirk that can fit with him. So it's a bad draft. Horrible draft.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. I thought the Seahawks were just filled with draft picks that just were feel-good draft picks, but they didn't make sense where they were being picked at. Like, he was drafting picks that were ranked for the 4th round and the first. Players that were drafted, like undrafted players in the 3rd round. It was just like, well, what are you seeing that we aren't? Why don't you just wait? Why can't you just be more patient, Pete? And it felt like Pete was just out-geniusing himself. And I thought that Penny pick, like, I can't get behind that. Like, I can't get behind that. In the 1st round, he didn't smell like a 1st-round pick. And the fact that you took a 1st-round choice on him, I can't call that a good choice. I mean, I got to question that completely. Then lastly, I'm going to have to go with the New England Saints. Now, overall, like, the Saints really did have a good draft. Like, if you go through player for player, and, like, what these players are, like, their skills and, like, their potential in the NFL, like, even the 6th-round running back, Boston Scott, out of Louisiana Tech, that was a hell of a good pick. Yeah, he might actually see the field. For a 6th-round pick, that's a great pick. Even Traquan Smith, the wide receiver, I think he actually is a good fit for the Saints. But just trading up for Marcus Davenport at the 14th pick in the draft and to give up, no 2nd-round pick after that. You gave up a lot to get him. And I know he fits what exactly the Saints need right now, but you didn't have to give up as much to get him, and that can cost you later on.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. I think that's, like, even if Marcus Davenport gets hurt now, you just ruined your entire draft. You put your entire draft on this one kid to be the right choice. And I don't think he was rated high enough for you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But, Saints, they know what they're doing. But to me, they had the worst. They didn't have the worst draft, but one of the worst. The worst for me is definitely Buffalo Bills.
I also didn't like Jacksonville's draft. I'm sorry, I didn't like it.
I felt very good about that draft.
Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan.
So that would be So then we jump into the top 5 of the show. Top five National Football drafts of all time. Now, I'll quickly go into mine real quick.
Okay.
So, best drafts we ever had. We'll start off with my honorable mentions. I started with the 2004 draft. That featured Eli Manning. You know me, I'm a Giant fan. I wear that jersey. He got me 2 rings. Big Ben was in that draft. Phillip Rivers was in that draft. And also Larry Fitzgerald. One of the better drafts we've seen. I also got a 1990 draft as one of my honorable mentions. That featured Shannon Sharp, one of the best tight ends ever. Emmitt Smith, most running yards ever. And Jeff George was the number 1 pick. He became a pretty good quarterback with the Oakland Raiders. Then we got the 2001 draft. Is also my honorable mention. We had Michael Vick was the number 1 pick. We had Damian Tomlinson. I see now. I was going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Tomlinson, Drew Brees, and Richard Seymour was in this draft. I was going to my top 5. Number 5, I'm going to go with the 1989 draft. That's also my birthday year, so there's a lot of love there. But the number 1 pick for that draft was Troy Aikman. He turned out to be a Hall of Famer. Other notable picks in that draft, we got Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, and Deion Sanders, who was also in that 89 draft. Into my number 4 draft, the 1985 draft. The number 1 pick there was Bruce Smith. Turned out to be a Hall of Famer. Notables in that, Jerry Rice, possibly the best wide receiver ever. Herschel Walker, one of the best we've ever seen. And Randall Cunningham, one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. One of the ones that broke the mold. Number 3, the 1996 draft. This one I'm a lot more aware of. It's one of the drafts that I can remember a lot more. A lot of the players from this draft are just not getting to the Hall of Fame. The first pick in this draft was Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn Johnson is the actual first player I can remember wanting to play with in a video game that I know who he was. Like, first player. So he was the first pick of that draft. Notables in that draft, we got Jonathan Ogden, Ray Lewis, Marvin Harrison, and Terrell Owens in this draft. Some of the best wide receivers we've ever seen came out this 96 draft with Keyshawn, Marvin Harrison, and Terrell Owens. Still going to number 2, the 1981 draft. The first pick was a fellow named George Rogers, but the notable picks in this are Lawrence Taylor for the Giants, Ronnie Lott, and Mike Singletary, one of the best linebackers to ever do it. This is considered the best defensive draft of all time. Then number 1, I got the 1983 draft, considered the best quarterback draft of all time. First pick in the draft was none other than John Elway, who's become now a great GM. Notable picks in here, we got Bruce Matthews, Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, Eric Dickerson. Many more stars in this, but this is notables, and that's my top five. Some of the best NFL drafts that we've ever seen it. I don't think this draft will follow in that footsteps, but those are some of the best drafts that we've ever seen.
That's foul. I'm gonna go with my honorable mention. I have one. It's the 2011 draft. That's where we saw the Cam Newton and Von Miller.
Okay.
Marcel Darius, AJ Green, Patrick Peterson, Julio, Alden Smith.
Okay.
Tyron Smith, J.J. Watt. A lot of, especially first rounders.
Okay.
That came out to be Nate Solder, that y'all got now.
Shout out.
Cameron Jordan, Jimmy Smith, Mark Ingram, Cameron Hayward. It's just been a lot of players, and I could probably go more into rounds and rounds of these drafts, but we don't have all the time for that. That was my honorable mention. I will go number 5. The first pick was Sam Bradford, who was the talented Sam Bradford until he just keeps getting hurt. Then Ndamukong Suh, Gerald McCoy, Trent Williams from Washington, Eric Berry, Russell Okung, Joe Hayden, C.J. Spiller, Brandon Graham, Earl Thomas, JPP, Mike Lupati, Maurkice Pouncey, and even Antonio Brown was a 6th-round draft pick in that draft. So, like, that was one of the greater drafts. We had the 1995 draft with my man Kerry Collins.
Okay, Sam Donald.
We had with Hall of Famer Warren Sapp, Ty Law, Steve Air McNair, Derek Brooks. Like, these are Hall of Famers that I'm mentioning. And it was just I think I just like this draft mainly because of Steve McNair. He was one of the best that I've seen. Like, especially like one of the few African American quarterbacks I've seen. I was like, wow,
he could do it.
He passed, man.
No flaws, yo. No flaws. Cause he was a perfect. Oh my God,
his only flaw was a Mouze, man.
I do love her. Shout out to you. Shout out to 57.
And then
Kanye West, man.
Third off, I got the 2006 draft.
Right.
I like this draft. It started off with one of the shockers when we had Mario Williams getting drafted
over Reggie.
Reggie being number 2.
We all thought Reggie should have won that draft.
Exactly.
Man. That was crazy draft, man.
Vince Young, the Brickashaw Ferguson. That was the first time I had to really learn how to say somebody's first name.
Brick.
The Brickashaw.
Man, Brick.
AJ Hawk. Vernon Davis with the dreads. Halo Inata, Tamba Hali, Antonio Cromartie before the kids, Jonathan Joseph. Like,
he might already had a couple there.
Yeah, might have. Nick Mangold. I even love Joseph Adai that we picked up. D'Amico Ryans, DeQuell Jackson. I love this pick. I love this draft. This is like one of the few drafts that I started really paying attention to. Really started watching. Then we have the 2001 draft. That one, like that draft, that was where the Mr. Michael Vick showed up. Mm-hmm. Where he just made everybody was like, whoa, if you pick this guy in a game, I got to the point that when we played Madden, if you was playing against somebody, Atlanta is not in the option of teams to pick.
Yeah, I remember we played.
It's like those are rules.
Rock, paper, scissors to play for Atlanta.
Yeah, it was either you can't play with them or you had to bet.
I'm playing with Vic.
We had to, because there was no way you can't pick them off of just random.
That's a fact.
Those did.
That was a different era. Vic experience. First football player, one of his leagues.
Exactly.
I'm the almost first guy.
I remember, that was the time I wish they made that video game.
Facts.
They should still make that video with all this technology. Vic experience.
Like Lamar Jackson about to have it.
Facts. Arizona's Leonard Davis, Justin Smith, LaDainian Tomlinson, Richard Seymour, Andre Carter, Dan Morgan, Marcus Stroud, Santana Stephen Hutchinson.
I thought Santana was Randy's little brother. Man, yeah.
That's a fact.
I thought Santana was Randy's little brother. Like, oh, the Jets got it.
Will Allen, Deuce McAllister,
Shout out to Deuce.
Drew Brees, Kyle Vanderbosch, Idris Bashar. I love when the Colts picked them up. Love this picks from 2001. That was
hell of a draft though.
Hell of a draft. And then the last one, my favorite. I got to go with the 1998 draft.
Oh,
where we decided Peyton Manning over Ryan Leaf was the greatest history in life.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, I would love somebody to dive into that Ryan Leaf situation. Like, how draft experts were not wrong. Like, the Bengals ruined this man's career. Like, he went to the Chargers, right?
No, San Diego.
Yeah, the Chargers. The documentary even showed like, hey, that did nothing to really protect this kid.
It was horrible. It was horrible. It was very horrible.
Then he started drinking. Popping pills, like that didn't protect the kid, like
nothing helped.
And then the journeyman's out.
That's a fact. This is my top quarterback. Then Ronnie was out. We had Charles Woodson.
Okay.
Fred Taylor.
Okay.
Takeo Spikes. Keith Booking. I actually liked him in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Randy Moss.
Word.
Alan Faneca. It's just. Two players where it's just like where draft picks were made. I think this is where people really watch talented. Where it's not where I think why we keep going to like these early years.
Yeah.
This is before so much of the internet.
Yeah.
Where it's like now they just watch it on tape and be like, ah, he looks good. Before I think they would just go there. You would have to see these kids play. So I think that was the best way of. I don't know. I'm just guessing here because it doesn't like. The players we just named in our top 5.
Yeah.
We can go into the draft and go to second round, third round, fourth, sixth, and you'll still see players where they just made impacts.
Yeah.
But lately, I've been seeing drafts like 2013 draft, where it's a whole bunch of first round.
We're not even like this era is not nearly as patient as they were before.
They just get rid of them.
Like even like the Eric Flowers with the Giants, that's the 10th pick of the draft. Like
he's gone already.
Like you already talking like you know what I mean. I want to. That doesn't make sense. Like then you gonna call him Jamarcus Russell. Like there was no patience with him. Like but with like Steve Young, I believe he was the first pick that got traded away, but he eventually became a Hall of Fame because somebody gave him a chance. Like have we seen Jamarcus Russell with another team? No. Like we've not even seen it. And you try to tell me that another team couldn't have like brought him in and used his talent? You can't get a number 1 pick and not tell me he's not one of the most talented football players of his class.
That's a fact. So
it's not fair, man. It's not fair. Like, seen other quarterbacks go to other situations and get,
But like you said, like
Jimmy G.
Back then, we've seen a lot of big first round players that made sense. Now we're gonna see a lot of. Was that a real first round talent? It begs the question.
But then we. Shit. It happens, So I mean, we can probably get into a draft strategy. Breaking down I'll break down the analysts of our team's drafts.
Okay.
So I'll run through mine very quickly here. I have the New York Football Giants. I thought the New York Football Giants had a supreme draft. I really like the GM David Gettleman. Came over from the Panthers. He had got them to the Super Bowl. He had developed that defense. Almost went undefeated one year with Cam Newton. Did a good job of developing Cam Newton from drafting him to seeing Cam Newton throughout his career. And protecting Cam a little bit, like, you know what I mean? Because Cam plays in a style that could get himself hurt. Let's just be honest. And the fact that Cam has still survived this long in the league, I think is a testament to the team that drafted him and was able to protect him and develop him. And he's become a superstar. He's gotten to the Super Bowl. So you must say that draft was a win. And the person and the team behind that is really Gettleman. And his draft, man, if I look through this entire draft, so we're going to go quickly pick for pick here. Start off with the first pick, Saquon Barkley. He was a lot of people thought he was the best player in the entire draft, not just running back. And the problem that the Giants have had of the last, so I'll say 5 years, is really that we haven't been able to get a running game. and I don't want to point that at any particular running back. We had drafted Wilson very high one year, 32nd pick in the first round, but then he had a back injury and it had to force his career to be over. So that really took us back, and we haven't got a real running back to a star running back, a first round talent running back to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
So now we got the Ingram, the tight end. That's a first round talent. That's a mismatch. You got Odell Beckham, but you needed a running back, and the fact that Barkley was even available, this had to be taken. Now, but what makes the Barkley pick even better to me is the Will Hernandez pick as a guard. So a lot of people had him as the best guard next to Nelson. A lot of them have him as the best running offensive lineman in the entire draft. Some people actually feel like they just like him a little bit more because of his feistiness and the kind of approach he had, that he will be great. And the fact that he's the best run blocking linebacker in the entire draft, and the fact you get him behind the best running back in the entire draft, that alone made this draft a win for me.
Mm-hmm.
A green win. But then you add Lawrence Carter. He's a edge rusher out of Georgia. Quickly about him, he's a perfect fit for the 3-4 system. So the defensive coordinator, I can't bring his name right now, that Beachman, that came over from the Cardinals, that is now the defensive coordinator for the Giants, this was an absolute perfect fit for him. A better fit than what JPP would have been to the 3-4 system. He's basically replacing JPP. He has a lot of JPP skills and characteristics. He has great speed, great pursuit skills. He was actually compared to, I believe, Cameron Jordan. That's the linebacker with the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a solid pick. Most thought that he was a first-round talent. So the fact that they got him in the third round is another plus. He might be very successful with the Giants, and he fits their system very well. Then they also, in the third round, was also able to pick up B.J. Hill. He's a defensive linebacker out of North Carolina State. He's known as one of the best run defenders in the entire draft. He was rated very high, one of the top 5 defensive linemen in the entire league. The entire draft. Another great pick. And then in the fourth round, they were able to pick what many considered the 5th best quarterback prospect in the entire draft, and one that's more ready to start than majority of the quarterback prospects, Kyle Luletta, the MVP of the actual the Senior Bowl. Now, when I went into tape, because I wasn't too fond of him, I didn't look too much into him. I looked at maybe Josh Allen, Madison Rudolph, Lamar Jackson, Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield. I looked at more of that crop. I didn't really look on him. I saw the name. He was rated very high by Pro Football Focus. They had him rated the 4th best quarterback in the entire draft. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you look at the tape, look at what he brings to the table, he looks like a exact spinning image of Alex Smith. And I think the only reason that he wasn't drafted higher is because he's from a small school. If he had played at, say, UCLA or a USC, we might have been probably talking about this kid in the top 15 picks. He has that kind of talent comparable to these other quarterbacks. Like, he's just a tick underneath Baker Mayfield as far as throwing the football right now out of all of these quarterbacks to me. So I thought that was an excellent pick by the Giants. I think he'll be a great competition for Davis Webb, and possibly Davis Webb backup, where Davis Webb might take over for Eli in 2 years. So I thought that was a supreme pick. And then with the last pick, the Giants selected R.J. McIntosh. Now, McIntosh was another, I thought, just great pick. Many viewed him as actually a second-round pick. He's considered the only pure 3-technique defensive end in the entire draft. It's just that his size, his size is not really conducive to be he's a very smaller guy. He has small limbs, but he ranked extremely high. Some saw him as a second-round talent. His size is what many think is going to be a negation. He's a smaller size, but skills-wise, he's one of the better skills in the talent. And I thought to get him in the 5th round would many think him as a second-round actual talent, but just his size is questionable in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Gettleman knocked it out the park. Like, this was an A-plus draft. You know what I mean? They might win a Super Bowl off of this draft. This might be iconic, like Jerry Reese's draft that he had Bradshaw and I believe JPP. In that draft, they won the Super Bowl that year, and a lot of people point to that as being the draft that made Jerry Reese a good general manager. I think this is that for Gettleman. He got close with the Panthers. I think he's definitely going to win with the Giants. And I like Pat Shermer. I finally did get a chance to sit down and listen to his interviews. His approach to spreading the field out and maximizing Eli, the same way he did in Minnesota with who's that bum quarterback that he had? Man, shit. Like, God, yeah. I don't really joke about this.
You said Minnesota?
Like the quick, like what's his name?
Bradford?
No,
he had Bradford.
No, he was the he was a career backup that had a good year last year.
Keenum.
Like
Case.
The fact that he made Case and Keenum look like a starter, and some had even like an MVP watch for him.
Oh, that's the person I was talking about.
That
reminds me of Sam Donald too. Amazing in college.
Keenum. I can see that. And I mean, I don't want to do this to the Jets fans because, all right, I'm gonna explain it later when I do speak on like how I think Lamar Jackson, how good he would be.
Mm-hmm.
I think actually Sam Darnold could get the Jets to a Super Bowl. I don't think he'll ever be as good as Baker Mayfield, Josh Rosen, or Lamar Jackson in this draft, but I think he can actually be successful for the Jets, almost like Mark Sanchez. Mm-hmm. Mark Sanchez wasn't the best quarterback in that draft, like we know that now, but he got your Jets to 2 conference champions like that y'all have not even sniffed since. So, I mean, Sanchez did his thing here. If y'all had kept the receivers with him, like his guy Braylon Edwards, maybe he'd have been here for a longer time. Y'all didn't draft Geno Smith. But that's another conversation for another argument. We're just talking about the Giants and the draft. The Giants had a supreme draft. I'll continue on with the draft strategy and just breaking down the Giants draft. I'll make a little extension. The Giants actually got about 6 or 7 players that were undrafted free agents out of this draft that were part of the draft group. I'll mention 2 of them that I really liked. That I think that, again, Gelman is doing his thing with this draft. He has a cornerback, Grant Haley, out of Penn State. He was actually projected to be a 4th or 5th round selection. He's actually one of the best nickel corners in the draft. He was also Saquon Barkley's teammate. Saquon actually tweeted out, like, hey, you're with the team when he got signed by the Giants a couple hours after the draft was over. So as somebody to look at that might actually, might eventually see the field and might be a contributor as a good nickel corner. Could have been a 5th round selection. He was a special team star with Penn State. Now, they also was able to pick up offensive tackle, offensive guard Nick Gates out of Nebraska. He started 26 straight games. He forwent his senior season. This is why he fell so far down on the board. Many thought that he would be a 2nd or 3rd round selection, but he forego his senior season. So he basically a whole year missing of tape from him. But he's also known as a great pass protector. But, another undrafted free agent that I thought, can actually make the field, might actually make a contribution. Shout out to Dave Gettleman and the Giants staff for, spotting these players in the draft. Giants Supreme Draft, I'm fully on board. And that's my breakdown of the New York Giants 2018 draft.
Very nice, very nice. Very solid piece. I think it's going to be an interesting draft. We should have a bounce back year. Probably should never had this type of year, but
I think it works out for the best, like I said.
Yeah, they do.
We get Saquon Barkley, we get rid of McAdoo.
For my Indianapolis Colts draft strategy, first off, I must say, I feel like very proud that the players that I felt that we would be looking at were players that we did draft.
Correct.
And as far as certain players, like I give you Deion Kane, Quentin Nelson, Darius Leonard, and Taquan Lewis were the players that I actually watched before the draft and thought that these players would be perfect fits in my team.
And it mentioned it in your draft strategies, which makes you see like a Mel Kiper right now.
It makes me feel like I think I should be taking over for at least a Colts Mel Kiper, maybe just strictly for the team.
Like right off the bat, other than Saquon Barkley, which I think every person gets on the Giants should say, like, I didn't have, they didn't pick none of the people I thought they were going to I didn't get any of these right.
I just started realizing, I know where they have to be going. I see because when I started hearing what Chris Ballard was mainly saying, he wanted players that are football players. Yeah. So when I heard that, I said, oh, Bradley Chubb ain't going to work. not the fact that he's not a football player, he's a little bit more of a distraction with it.
That's right. He's more of a star.
He's a star, so he's gonna first off, if he gets banging, I think 2 years he's want to get a contract.
He's more Giovanni Clowney than he is in the mud. Yeah, Marseille's dirt is not that.
He's not gonna. So I see him in a lot of fights, a lot of beef. He's gonna get some riled up, and he's hard to stop. But he's a dominant player, nonetheless. But let me get forward to the Colts. We did draft. As far as we spoke about Quentin Nelson, solid pick to help up that line. You spoke briefly about Brandon Smith. That also, I think that helps our offensive line, which already starts with Ryan Kelly, who's a center who was playing with injuries last year, with concussion injuries.
Yeah.
So he had a little bit
high in the draft though.
Huh?
He ranked high in the draft.
He was a first round draft pick 2 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
Played, gave up 0 sacks in 2016. 2017 was played with injuries. He should be back healthy, running strong. Behind him, we have Deshaun Bond, who actually played very well as a backup for when he wasn't healthy. So I love the fact that we have depth within the offensive line. Anthony Costanzo, who's been playing very well as a left tackle ever since he came in 2011. He's been that solid option. You'll just see it. Well, pretty much we'll have like depth in behind him, but he's pretty much our starter. Now, when it comes down to the right guard and right tackle position, which was been our problem,
right side.
Jack Muir, who's been having injuries, they brought him back in for a 1-year contract on a very low, pretty much prove-it deal, and then drafted Brandon Smith to say, hey, you only have a very limited time to prove it because we got someone to take it.
Yeah, you might lose that in training camp.
And then I love the situation with our right tackle with Denzel Good and Laverian Clark. I think they both had their little struggles where one year one was better, the other year another one was better. But the problem was a lot of situations with the injuries, they were forced into right guard, and that's not their general position. So it didn't fit well with them playing guard. So now they can play their natural position at tackle. It's a solid position. Another person I like to bring up is Jeremy Vunjovic. I can't say his name well. Very quiet, but a solid season at the option. And we picked up Matt Slauson out of the LA Chargers. Older veteran, 32 years old, but just as more as for depth. And if in case none of these guys at right guard are not playing well, he could plug right in. So if the rookie needs some time, if Jack Muir gets hurt, he sits right in. He's perfectly fine. We can get into where Andrew Luck can stay upright. That'd be nice.
Now with Hines, like you actually got a running back that can actually.
Yeah, I'm about to get. I've been saying. I know we need to get. I actually have a draft. I have it like listed here where I pulled up our mentions and I said offensive line. I said we will probably go for multiple running backs, multiple wide receivers later on, but our main thing will be pass rusher and defense. That's exactly what we went for. I'm not all the players that I thought, but I know we went to the options. All right. Mainly because with Frank Wright coming from the Philly and the way that organization was played, multiple running backs. Joseph Adai, Blunt and Clemens, Darren Sproles. We have a person in Marlon Mack who I know I could be going with a stretch, maybe because it's a Colts team, but he resembles LaShawn McCoy to me. Just in the sense of productivity.
Okay.
And the fact of like you look at him like, oh, he's just a fast back, but then yet you see him running between tackles. You see every time they say he can't do something, you see more of him. Okay. So LaShawn McCoy came in as a second-round pick, not expected to start after his first season on only just playing on minimal rotation. He takes starting job. Yeah. So I think this season we'll see how far Marlon Mack can go. Okay. But we don't put it in that. But I love the fact that they didn't put it and say, you know what, we're going to leave it on his hands. No, we drafted players that can help the situation. Naheem Hines. The way he runs out the backfield, they say, oh, they don't really see him as a real running back. I beg to differ. I see him actually running the ball just frequently with Marlon Mack in the backfield just as well as doing kick returning opportunities, as well as pass catching. Jordan Wilkins. The reason why I like this kid, the only thing I don't like the comparison, because I think it's a little too far to stretch it. Then again, who am I to say? Because I just did a little bit of stretching myself. But they compared him to Edgerrin James. This is why I said you're kind of far stretching. You're going a little too far here. I said JD, they said Edgerrin. They're kind of going too far.
Well, I mean, I get it.
But I get it because the way he looks as a player, his vision, his patience.
Is more like
no. They said they said Jordan Wilkins, 5th round draft pick that we picked out of Oklahoma, Ole Miss. Sorry. So they say they compare him to Edgerrin James. Bit of a stretch for me, but I like his.
That's good praise.
That's good praise. I like when I hear that. But he has a great vision. He's very patient, and he has the size and the speed. My only problem is like the uncertainty sometimes, and he doesn't break tackles enough that I think that he should.
You say Jordan Wilkins, right?
Jordan Wilkins, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, Jordan Wilkins.
He's ranked pretty high.
Yeah, he's ranked pretty high, but he just doesn't.
Oh, he's a selling pass receiver and pass catcher.
Yes, so that's why I see him as that third option, and probably I just see a good rotation of running backs going. So I think regardless of how you see these players, they're all going to produce just the fact of they're going to be healthy going in.
Yeah.
And then when you have Andrew Luck, you can't put 7 in a box, never.
Ever.
So, especially when you have a person as T.Y. Hilton still catching the ball, and I just think T.Y. Hilton goes so underrated. The fact that they don't realize that his first few years he's just been 1,000-yard receiver.
I don't think he's underrated. I just think it's like it goes
underappreciated.
I think it goes back to if you're not making controversy, you're not being talked about. Like
That's
AJ Green for years has been nasty.
Yeah, he's that big. But
Andre Johnson with the Texans back in the day, it's like you're not hearing nothing about these guys. When
you see T.Y. Hilton post over 900 yards every season, and Andrew Luck is not your quarterback, that's just must say. And when you know the only person you have to guard is T.Y. Hilton on that wide receiver position every year, ever since he came in 2012,
he's lived up to his billing.
So he's done it. We brought up the Colts picked up Ryan Grant from the Washington as a replacement, cheaper. See what happens. They're big highs. I think I brought him up a few times. Chester Rogers. He had a great preseason, a great training camp. Injuries has played them, so we should see how that happens. But I love the fact that he picked up picks. Doris Fountain. He doesn't have a high clout for the simple fact of his quarterback, his first 2 seasons, was a running quarterback who couldn't really throw the ball. If you just look at the tape, during his junior season to his last season, they got traded to a quarterback where you've seen his numbers go up when they got a more throwing quarterback. And his last season, he had the best numbers. And I think he's the best replacement for Moncrief that we just lost because he's a red zone threat that can be amazing for this team, especially when you add in, we have Jack Doyle coming back and Eric Ebron playing not, and I said Eric Ebron needs to lead that Detroit team.
That's a fact, yeah.
Because I said that number one option is not for him. But being the second tight end,
he could break out.
He could break out because now who's guarding him?
I just feel like because of different quarterbacks. I don't think Stafford really gives a shit about tight ends.
You might be right because they went.
Because be giving it to tight ends and not even catches.
You might be right because this is the second tight end they had. What was it? Pettigrew they had before.
That's several. And this has not been successful with Stafford. So Stafford likes to go down the field.
Yes,
it's about receivers and running backs with him.
So we will see.
So I think Ebron was the wrong quarterback.
So now he's like, he even said the reason why he went into Colts is for the fact of Andrew Luck. That's the main reason.
I think he'll get 40 catches. You'll see a lot better out of him than you ever have.
Yes, you will.
Just so like Luck's a better passer. And that will get you the ball if you can catch.
If you're like this,
if you can catch, he'll force it to you.
This is why I said
if you can catch.
When a lot of mock drafts said that, the Colts should pick up Denzel Ward, should pick up a wide receiver. I said, I don't think you ever watch a Colts game if you're going to say that. Because
I know Roquan Smith, but
I think Roquan Smith, if the players like Andrew Nelson wasn't there, probably Roquan Smith was next on the list. Because I know we needed that. So
that changes the game, God.
They said we need a wide receiver. I don't know if you know, when you have a great quarterback, the wide receiver doesn't really matter.
Ask Deion Branch how good he was.
Exactly.
Ask Antonio Freeman how good he was. No knocks with these guys, though.
Deion Kane, I think his biggest issue is drop passes. To me, he looks like what's that guy from 49ers? The 49ers picked him up and then he went to Raiders. Now they just got rid of him.
Torrey Smith, right?
No. The one.
See, that's who he remind me of.
Not the other kid.
Yeah, he's fast, but he'll drop some.
No, what's the other kid? He was in Oakland with Amari Cooper. They just got rid of him for Crabtree. That's what he kind of remind me because
I don't think he's that.
He's fast. No.
Better catcher in college. He started dropping that.
That's what I'm saying. He
was a supreme runner.
But this is what he's going to remind me of. Where
he can't do that.
Where he's going to be just as fast, but drop the ball just as much. That's what I mean. That's where I'm going. This is where I'm going. I'm not saying
it was always a great route.
Now,
I don't know if I've seen that with Kane.
Deion Kane resembles to me not so much.
Good money.
Not so much, but I think he's going to get real help because just the fact of Reggie Wayne coming in as a volunteer wide receiver coach, he's going to play that role where Deion Kane
has a better chance than Kane getting that Reggie Wayne.
You never know because I like Fountain's route running a little bit better.
Yeah, but I like better receiver.
But I like Deion Kane just for his speed. Yes. But then it's like I think you can go any way. Okay. And the reason I like Deion Kane just because he played.
He was also proven on the biggest stage.
He played He played very well when he had Deshaun Watson and Mike White. I mean Mike.
And he was Watson's favorite target.
And he was this while being the second option, he was the favorite target. So I say now with Ty being the main option, he's not getting number one wide receiver. Now that's why I still give him that little edge. That's the reason I give him that little edge over Fountain. Even though I see because Fountain came from a small school, Northern Iowa, he gives that little edge. But still, I like the fact that the Colts felt more on Fountain. They picked them first. That's how they know this is wonderful for talent. I just like that.
That GM, man, like he's holding it down.
He's doing what he got to do. And then we go into defense.
That's good.
Now with defense, we went into the draft. They went into the free agency, picked up Dinko Autry, he played for Oakland. And I said, why did you pick up Dinko Autry? Then I watched his tape. He plays nose, defensive tackle, both end position.
So he plays all the
He plays all lines. So I said, they bought him for that reason.
Okay.
I love
it.
Versatility. He had 3 blocks in the last 2 years.
That's a special team piece.
This is what I just like. So I mean that the points. And then last year we had a couple of blocks with Marcus Hunt that we tried on. Big, tall linemen that can play the inside. Those are perfect players that can get blocks. 6'4", 6'5" type of players that can actually generate pass rush. Love it. We got Jabal Shear coming back. John Simon coming back. And then we picked up players. There's a guy that we picked up as an undrafted free agent, Tomasi Luwali. I actually watched his tape. I've seen there was a person that they actually picked up. I was actually, wow, we actually picked him up on the undrafted. That was another player that I seen that plays as a good nose tackle that can come in and play into rotation.
It's good talent.
Kumoy Kimoko Toure. That's one player I did not.
I'm glad you went for that first. I mean, shout out to Rutgers. That's in it. I trust.
I did not watch his tape prior to the draft, but after they drafted, I did watch him, and I just love what I see in this kid.
Okay.
He looks like who we picked up last year in Terrell Basham. And Terrell Basham was a 4-3 type of player who played at Ohio, running into his first time into a 3-4 defense, his first time in his life, in rotational playing, generated 2 sacks and a fumble. That ranked 5th out of rookies. So I think now going back to his general position of pass rusher as a defensive end, we're going to see more of Terrell Basham, and with this rookie coming in, we're going to see that coming in where they're going to have a more of a better pass rushing situation. Taquan Lewis, who they have him as an edge rusher, but I love him inside.
He's a versatile player.
He's very versatile. I think he creates more pressure when you see what they call it, the pass rushing duo. And that's what I was like, yo, the Colts may look like Ohio State last year where they had Jalen Holmes, Sam Hubbard, what's that boy from Chargers? Baby Bosa.
Okay.
And Lewis, all playing where Lewis will play inside and generate rush from the inside and force the quarterback out
to bolster
to the rest of the guys to eat up. So I'm like,
because how many bolts has some big numbers over there.
So when you see this kid, you're like, yo, and he had tops in sacks, 9 sacks last year. That's amazing for a guy who's in rotation. That doesn't make sense.
I mean, he's definitely like one of the more versatile linebackers in this draft. That's for sure.
And then we go.
Those numbers are that great though.
You know, the guy I praise a lot. I'm just gonna speak Darius Leonard. Just gonna say his name. Gotta say it one time. Love that kid.
Yeah, he was a sleeper for a lot of people, like you called it.
I like the kid.
It looked like the Colts man was listening, and he went out and grabbed that.
I know they listen to me. I know, yo, Indy, you ain't gotta pay me too much, but you gotta pay me for my choices, big.
Go to the point where the checks will start coming for it's like it's a lot of great information there.
You know what I'm saying? Then we picked up Matthew Adams, linebacker, and Zaire Franklin.
Yeah.
Matthew Adams, I see more of a tackling. I was in both these players. I didn't really watch their tape before the draft. I watched them after. I like to see what Matthew Adams does. That's a player I'm not like. We'll see how he transitions to this team. He's a good tackling player, and he can. I think he can make it more as just tackling. He most likely might be special teams.
Okay.
I see him more in special teams and tackling and rotation and defense. We're trying to get more in rotation and defense. I like it.
I mean, for the 7th-round pick, that's all you can really ask for.
Pretty much.
Team stuff.
Zaire Franklin, I think, is a 7th-round draft pick. That might be that sleeper. Because I watch him. He's a 4-year first time ever, a 4-year starter.
I mean, all the other defensive players that drafted.
He's a 4-year captain. It's the first time ever at a Syracuse. This is a Syracuse team that had Dwight Freeney. So this guy played. They said that his former coach calls him Mr. Uncuttable. When you hear names like that, where it's like he's just a player, where
it sounds like some Tom Brady.
So then now I watch his tape. You see him against certain players, like Syracuse had one of the when him coming in, Syracuse became one of the top teams ranked, the top defensive team last year.
Wow.
With him as being the setup man, the Mike linebacker, I think he can slowly come in and take that Mike linebacker position.
Yeah, he might just at least
he might because he was like all I know is 4-3. And all I know is how to set up players. I know how to put everybody in position. And that's all he did. A 4-year, how do you become a captain at a rookie as a freshman? So
you gotta prove something.
So the fact that I was like, oh man, I think we have a real talent in a kid. Like he may not show them much, but if you put around talent around him, you might see a good. I think he played against Louisville. You might see him a good game.
I'm gonna look at his tape.
You go see a good game against Louisville. And then I seen a lot of drafts where
he raised out like ranked 83. Like that's
just watch him.
Any other of these defensive players I drafted.
It's shocking. It's just shocking when you just look at tape. You're like, you really want to draft it? And you went that far?
I don't have to say because he's that old. Maybe. Probably what it is. Like.
Yeah, this could be. Then we go into the cornerback position and the safety position, which I think I expressed numerous times we will not be touching in this draft.
They need to, my man.
But constantly. Wilson. Malik Hooker.
There it is. That's why like that kid is a problem.
When I keep hearing, they should go Denzel Ward. They should probably go Josh Jackson. I said, have you watched?
I did think that Josh should go Josh Jackson the 2nd round.
But
like once he's available, it's like I could use a corner.
But I don't think we needed a corner. I think going into 3-4 defense, you necessarily don't automatically need a nickel as much.
I just don't know who corners y'all have. Like I don't know if there's a face over there. Like
Quincy Wilson, 2nd-round draft pick.
Who's the face though? Like who's the Darrell Reeves? Who's the Malcolm Butler?
I think this
Gilmore. Like
I don't think you need that.
Jack Rabbit. You know, who's your star?
I think Quincy Wilson is going to be the number one.
Okay.
I think coming in, he admitted to saying that he didn't do enough last year.
Okay.
He expressed, I hope Colts don't pick a cornerback in this draft. I will definitely prove it. Yeah. When I hear that, I love hearing those words.
I mean, that's nice, but I just feel like you're just one side of the field. Yeah, you should want somebody with you to make it a little easier.
That's sure. But then I like what Quincy Wilson has done.
Okay, I mean,
I love his talent.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, Nate Harrelson came in as a 4th-round draft pick that just surprised almost everyone until I seen his tape and I said, this is not surprising. He can do it.
He could be good. I'm just saying, to me, you have to, if you're in the draft and you have a chance to, you should at least address that if you don't have a star there. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think
you don't have a star in
there was more
secondary round.
I think there was more needs where the other players make sense. I don't think you go into if you have
I thought it was a great.
No, I'm saying if you're
projecting it outside of it, like
I get what you're saying.
I thought a corner would be the move.
I thought maybe if we did pick a corner, it would be a corner either in the late 7th round or undrafted. That's why I think the only way it would make sense. No, because I think with our
lack of Mike Hughes.
No, I say the lack of a defensive line, the lack of a linebacker core. I think that was more important to get and with injuries plaguing that team so much, especially with that line, when John Simon went out, a lot of players that just went out when they just went, they got hurt. It just became that defensive line became a real struggle. Mm-hmm. And with the Colts, you see them last year. In the second half, we gave up almost 300 to 3 points. And while we led almost every game in the first half, second half we didn't. So that was because of not enough. That was because of percent. Not enough players at that 7 to keep going.
Percent don't got no money. Right?
So
Major percent just didn't have no money.
Yeah, whatever. Just like he's better than Eli.
Last year?
Oh yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about last year.
That's what happened in his life.
All right, Mr. 0 wins.
Yo, he's gonna be coming back this year, man. This is all part of the master.
All right, let me finish. So then, a player that we got undrafted was Matthias Farley. I like the way he played as in the safety position, and with Clinton Gathers. Clinton Gathers is a really unknown but a hard-hitting safety who's had neck injuries last year, and he came into the end of last year, and he's gonna play amazing. I know you like to hear the names, but a name has to begin, and these names will begin. Like the names you named, Stephon Gilmore. He was Stephon Gilmore until he went.
That's a good point, but to the point where I mean is, all right. So when you think of, but it's like high talented corners, high talented players, usually not out of nowhere. So like a Hayden, we spoke about Hayden earlier. I think Hayden was like the 5th pick in the draft.
But the players on name, they ain't out of nowhere.
I understand what you're saying. I'm saying these were top stars.
But I'm saying these were top stars in their colleges. I mean, and they came into the NFL into a team where they were backups. Like,
sure. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that the difference on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you think of the big time corners, like even Casey Haywood, is it right? Casey Haywood.
Yeah.
That's a 1st round pick. Like, you mean, like, I'm just saying, like, usually the stars usually come out of the first 2 rounds. Yeah. It's usually speaking.
Usually.
But, like, there's, like, New England that could discover, you know what I mean, talent throughout the rounds. They ain't
niggas that could discover.
Steelers do it. I mean, good teams do it. What I mean, good teams. And a lot of, I mean, like, the good teams are the good teams for a reason. Like, the Steelers, New England.
And I think
even the Giants, like, they'll discover players in the later rounds.
But I think when you create a 4-3 defense, like, the main objective of creating a 4-3 defense, what Jacksonville did. Same as, like, you create the line. The line is the most important thing. The corners, not to say they're not important, but you need ball-hawking corners.
I agree with you, but I'm saying for me. I get what you're saying. Indianapolis last year spent money on their line. They brought my man Hankins and took it off our heads. Jerks. So
and they got rid of him.
Which was sucking. Like,
because he doesn't fit
the mold that they wanted. But I'm saying, like, I saw y'all spend money on y'all line last year. I seen y'all actually bringing, like, talent to that line. So I'm thinking this year, y'all already addressed OG Nelson.
But they didn't in
the 3rd round in that area. You could have got yourself a potential starting corner. I don't know what they have there. There's nothing there that I'm secured on as an objective fan. And I like Wilson, but it's like I don't see nothing over there that I'm secured beyond Wilson. But I mean, you bring in more talent to that room when you don't have enough talent.
But I think more last year, the players that they drafted were just rotational players, just for pieces. Because if you look into the year before that, we had Trent Cole, Whedon, and like older players. So we brought in players. They brought in players like the only eldest player we have in there that they brought in was Al Woods, and he was 29 years old, 30 years old. Okay. So as far as players, like the only person they really drafted for as the defensive line was Grover Stewart and Terrell Basham. Those are the only players that were drafted into the thing, and I don't think we needed to draft for the simple fact that last year.
And then y'all lost the corner that was holding it down for y'all.
Who?
It was the
Vontae?
No, yes, Vontae Davis.
Well, not necessarily.
They say he came over the year, didn't he?
No.
The year before. The year for that this year.
Nah.
He did.
No.
Again, I don't pay attention. I'm just going off of like.
Nah, he did not have a good
corner. He's a known corner.
He's a known corner. So I'm saying
that was the one guy. You lose him now. Who do you replace him with? I'm just looking from the outside. Let's say that we lost DRC. You got to replace DRC with either a draft pick of Eli Apple or you sign in Janoris Jenkins. You need somebody in there to be your lead corner. You can't just go off, I think, Eli Apple and hope that he's going to now step up. I thought the Jets did that to D. Milliner and the other kid, Pryor. Y'all got rid of Cromartie. Y'all let Reeves go, but y'all didn't have somebody senior to lead that room now. Mm-hmm. So the both of them more or less failed. Y'all killed Miller, y'all killed Pryor as being corners. Because y'all didn't keep Reeves, y'all didn't keep Cromartie to be the senior ones to take on them lead receivers. Because they're not ready yet.
All right, but for example,
I love Quincy Wilson.
But for example,
who's that guy that's not Vontae Davis now to be able to take on that lead guy till they're ready?
I think it's a set of players that will take on that situation. I think if you look at a team like who won a Super Bowl last year, Philadelphia Eagles, they did not have a corner that was really solid.
Really?
Who was the number one corner? Who was the number? Jalen Mills was 2 years in. 1 year in.
But the Eagles didn't even have a weakness there.
But I'm saying,
I'm pointing that out because that was a weakness for the Colts for years now.
Rasul Douglas was not a number one corner. These weren't their
strength.
Their strength
on defense is their front seven.
And that's exactly what I'm saying.
I'm cool with that. That's not the point I'm making.
I'm
saying like if the Colts were to build out, like y'all have nothing now. Y'all have nothing to me. So it's like if you have to continue to build out your rooms. You started to improve your defensive line. You got my man Hooker in the back. Who's that in the secondary? I love Quincy Wilson, but it's like, who is that? Like, who is that? What's the room?
I'm telling you right now. Pierre Desir that had an amazing season last year. He had an amazing season last year. That's the veteran guy to play the next side. Nate Harrelson, who had a good season last year, he's gonna end up to play in rotation.
I'm not talking
Chris Middleton
plays though.
No. I'm just saying
you could always bring in pieces to make the room competitive. Yeah. Who's the people that gonna be moving forward with? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you right now, looking at the kids,
I love Quincy Wilson, but that's not enough for me to be confident leaving the draft, not addressing that position.
I think that makes me confident. The fact of in this draft, they took the majority of the needs, what they needed in that front seven, and which was weakest. And they, like you said the pass was not as bad as it sought out to seem. Touchdowns mainly was caused by middle linebacker and linebacker play.
Correct.
A majority of plays were done by third down drives by running backs getting the ball. Our corners did solid jobs all year round.
And to me, I thought that was Vontae Davis. I didn't know
Vontae Davis didn't even play half the season.
I'm assuming that he was part of that.
No, we didn't.
The games that I saw, he was one of the actual top corners.
No, in the games that he played, he got burnt 3 times and he got dropped.
The game I saw, the game was 9-7.
Which one was this?
I played, what was that game? It was 9-7. It was Brissett almost won it. They were up 7-0, and then they eventually lost the game in 9-7.
He lost the game against Cincinnati. Yeah. That was him. That was Vontae Davis losing his wide receiver, losing the player. Got burnt. I'm just saying. I can't say it's just completely him, but I'm just saying, at his age,
I would prefer me to at least know I have a guy in here that's a.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
But I'm talking. I just prefer the whole revamp. I prefer the revamp and seeing what your players got, because at the end of the day, I think this is still we could be a playoff team just solely off of luck.
Yeah.
But we're not a Super Bowl team until maybe next year with some more players. And I think next year, that's when you get into, we can go first round cornerback.
I agree with what I'm saying. We can go. If I go look at the draft, they drafted maybe 4 linebackers.
Yes.
When it's you could draft 1 corner and 3 linebackers. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You could just add it to the room. That's what I'm saying.
But I like this.
When you had that in me and you're ready to me from the outside looking, look like you tried to address your front 7 last year, and I don't think you really addressed your corners last year. You put to me looking there, it looks like you look more. They address more of that. You got yourself a star safety, which addresses secondary. Then you address your front 7. Now I think you move into the next year. You already got your safety taken care of. You can still address that front 7, but you've given now 6 picks to that front 7, and to me you're almost blinded and didn't even address that corners field. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, if you out of those 6 picks, if you took 1 and made 5 to linebacker, I'm fine with that. You're telling me that you want to improve your front 7, that's fine. But it's looking to me that you're neglecting your corners.
I get what you're saying, but I get with the fact of you never know who you get in the draft. So I don't mind
a draft that I thought had a lot of good corners in the middle rounds.
But I think there was if they wasted, not to say wasted, if they went after a corner who could potentially be decent or probably not, that's losing a linebacker or a player that they know or felt that was a better fit for their team.
And I get that, but I'm saying like,
so that's why I'm like,
I've seen three linebackers that y'all picked in the 6th and the 7th round. That's what I'm saying. Like I had a space.
That's
there.
The only. That's what I said. I thought a cornerback would have been drafted in the 7th round. That's the only place where I thought a cornerback would have been drafted.
Okay.
But I honestly don't think there was a need. I think last year we addressed the cornerback position with Chris Milton. No, not Chris Milton. Where is his name? DJ White. And Kenny Moore and Nate Harrelson and Quincy Wilson. That's 4 cornerbacks all picked up last year that you went into that situation. So now you go into a different. I don't mind if they went and got another cornerback laying around, but I have no problem with the linebacker position because that was the biggest problem. That biggest problem was getting a linebacker and a pass rusher. So getting enough where it's like you never know who's going to be that good. So if you get 2 or 3, you have a good chance at 2 or 3, or maybe at least one of them is going to be good.
Sure.
So it puts yourself in a better situation.
I 1,000% agree. I'm just saying for me, in the NFL, like, injuries happen. And if you don't have enough depth at a particular position, it will definitely come back to haunt you.
That's true.
And that's why I'm looking at the Colts right now, that corner room, like, where's the depth?
Let's
just say Quincy Wilson gets hurt. What name do I trust there? That's what I'm saying. Like, if you'd draft, let's say, what's the kid name? Isaiah Oliver, who I drafted in the 3rd round. I think that's a great pick for them. Because now you have somebody at least to compete with Quincy in case he got hurt. And now you can sign somebody if you need. And you still had the space to have those other 4 linebackers that they still drafted. And you got your pass rush in the 2nd round still.
Well, I still don't like. I like it because when it came down to undrafted free agents, we picked up a couple of players as far as Robert Jackson, Henry Tolliver, and Lashard Durr, who could also bring into that position where I was like, I just like the depth at the cornerback position. I don't think it was a major need. I think what we have is good. If you're going to grab the extra person, fine. But I don't think it was a need. I just knew coming in that line needed it. That linebacker needed it. And it was everyone almost has to go. That was in there from last year. That linebacker position. John Bosick didn't play that well. Bakirvis Mingo already left.
That's a fact.
One passed away. So the one that got killed from the car accident.
That's right.
By the Mexican.
R.I.P.
So picking up Darius Leonard. Okay, small school. Not sure his upside. All right, we pick up another guy. Zaire Franklin. Not that big. We'll see how much it is. You even just said Zaire, the 7th round draft pick, had the highest grade of every other lineman we had in there.
Oh, no, I'm not knocking the draft. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got the Colts as having one of my best drafts.
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying for me.
Yeah, I get what you. No, I completely. No, I get exactly what you're saying. I'm just going more into just what my. I'm just going more into what we're doing.
Strategy.
Yeah, and then we picked up a Sky Moore who was a very interesting talent that went undrafted. And a lot of people was very questioning, like, why he went undrafted. He's one of the top linebackers out there. He was actually, as part of one of the lists, as one of those top 5, top 10 linebackers in the draft, but went undrafted. So it's interesting to see that we picked him up. So I'm just saying, going into this season, it's going to be a new one. It's going to be interesting, but there's a lot of players that were picked up, and a lot of players that were picked up last year. This is why I knew last year Chuck Pagano was gone. No, because the players that they brought in, Jabal Sheard, Nelson, these are 4-3 linebackers. You brought them into a 3-4 system, but I think what he did was he brought in players to say, you know what, I'll give you anybody you need to try to make your season looks a little bit better. Jonathan Hankins, Woods, etc.
Like, he's not gonna have a job if Luck doesn't play. So the fact that they said, like,
but then if you think about it,
I don't think he had a chance.
Oh, you mean in general? I thought even if Luck did play,
then he was really on the hot seat.
I think he was.
I feel like he had a chance. Like,
I thought
Luck would win a Super Bowl every year. I think that kind of player. I think Luck would win a Super Bowl every year
if you put him in the right situation.
It's on the field. I think, you know what I'm saying. Like, he could possibly do it every year.
We're one game away from being in the Super Bowl.
So now I'm thinking, like, for Pagano, it's like, as long as I get my ace in the hole, almost like my man with the Packers. If Aaron Rodgers gets hurt again, he doesn't have a job. And even when Aaron Rodgers got hurt before, they was already calling for his job.
They're already questioning his play calling ability.
So imagine if Andrew Rodgers had a shoulder injury, was out for a year.
But if you look at
that man is out the next year.
Yo, you look at Chuck Pagano in a situation, and you really look at that team, and it said, what did you and the general manager really pick? Because if you look at the players after Luck, and then when you come out and publicly say we don't have that much talented players, you're the head coach.
Yeah, you can't.
You cannot say that.
You can't say that. Like, even if you feel that, you can't say that. Like,
you can't say that.
Like, because him and that to your kids, like, I don't even have talented kids. You can't say that about your kids.
You can't say that. But my main thing was Chuck Pagano and Ryan Greason had so much beef. And I think the most ignorant thing that happened was re-signing both of them for one more year to say they squashed the beef. There's no way they squashed the beef. He's not picking the players he want.
Not at all.
So I think I really got to give I know I gave Pagano more of a harsher this, but I'm more looking to him like he actually got the short-handed to stay. Yeah, the bad because that was the horrible, and I kind of slowly blame the owner.
Ursay?
Yo, look, I love the Colts. I love the Colts, but Ursay, I don't like him being around. Last year, no, I'm just saying the way he is. He's like one of those Richie Snobby kids. He's almost close to the Trump. What I'm saying because Andrew Luck is definitely playing next year. You don't even know that. So I think now they just be lying to him. Because early into the season, he said we're definitely taking Bradley Chubb or Saquon.
So you got that little Mark Cuban here, and you want to keep him out?
No, I don't say just keep him out of real business. Because if you keep him into the situation, he likes to tweet.
He drinks, man.
He likes to. He just actually bought no. What's the thing? An AA club thingy. He just bought a Drinkers Anonymous. He just bought it for $2.4 million. But
it's gonna be fun to be.
That's my core strategy. A little bit into it, but it's gonna be a good season. I think even if, but a very slow, like a rare occasion if Luck does not play, I'm comfortable with Brissett because his second year coming with a nice offensive line. Yeah. And also, Chris Ballard was offered by two different teams draft picks for Brissett. Denied.
Makes sense.
Love it.
I think he makes it a solid backup, like almost like Foles did for the Eagles. You don't give that kind of play out if you can keep him.
Come on, Andrew Luck is only 28, 29 years old. You're gonna need somebody else.
That was an excellent take. Definitely know your team. As the hints of the draft and your draft predictions matching up. So we're going to end the show off with the alternative view. That's the reason that we do this change of pace show, for the alternative views. Mm-hmm. So my alternative view for this NFL draft special is that Lamar Jackson will end up having a better career than Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold.
Alternative view done.
So I'm going to start off with the first reason being I don't trust the Cleveland Browns organization for developing players. I got history as in Tim Crouch, Brady Quinn, Johnny Manziel, as very quality players that just as good as Baker Mayfield that were not successful. You know what I mean? I like Baker Mayfield, but he never struck me as a number one pick. He never struck me as a player that's hands down the best player in the draft. It's not a Cam Newton. Not even a David Carr, where you was just sure that this is the number one pick. You know what I mean? I thought that he was probably the best of the quarterbacks right now, but I didn't think that meant that he was the best quarterback. Will have the best quarterback career. Sam Darnold, I'm going to blame the New York media right now for why Sam Darnold is not going to be successful. Even when Sam Darnold has a good season, when they might be 10-6 and he has a solid year like Fitzmagic, they're going to say that he's not doing well enough. Almost like Mark Jackson. Sam Darnold will never be able to live up to the expectations of New York City. Because he's not one of those players. He's not a Peyton Manning. He's not an Andrew Luck. He's not an RG3. He's not a Cam Newton. He's not one of these transcending type of talents that New York doesn't chew up. Like Mark Sanchez was a hell of a player. If the Dolphins had got Mark Sanchez, they would have been happy. But he came to the Jets. And we saw what happened to Mark Sanchez. Like, he got y'all the 3 straight playoff runs. And because he slipped on a cold Thanksgiving,
It's over.
y'all just did nothing but ridicule this man and send him out of town, right? I can see this happening to Sam Darnold just as easy. Not to mention, Sam Darnold didn't have a better college career than Geno Smith. So what makes me think the Jets will do better with Sam Darnold than they did with Geno Smith? Better arm, better career. Forget, Geno Smith last year in college, he led the entire NCAA in passing touchdowns. People forget that. His main target, Trayvon Austin, that didn't work out for him in the NFL.
You know what's crazy though? I'm sorry to cut it, but the way that you just said that Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah.
And how he's never going to get that high praise, especially with the New York Jets. But then yet they always compare their quarterbacks to Joe Namath.
Oh, yeah.
But yet Joe Namath's numbers wasn't no nice.
He just won championship one year and predicted it. If you see his numbers, he was never one of the better quarterbacks of his time.
Because as I was saying, I'm looking, he has the numbers what Sam Darnold will put up. Or with he actually has numbers that we just said Mark Sanchez put up better, but yet they don't like him. His first year he went 18 and 15 in touchdown, 19 and 27 touchdown interception ratio, 26 and 28. He never had a season where he had more touchdowns than interceptions.
I'll even give it to you like this. Joe Namath is Eli Manning of that time.
1 year, 4,000 yards.
I keep it 1,000 with you. Joe Namath is Eli Manning of that time. Joe Namath was not a very good quarterback in the regular season, but he was clutch. He made big plays. Like, that's what made his name, and he did it in the biggest stage.
And he made
Broadway Joe, you know what I mean?
4 Pro Bowls.
You did? You did. But that's legacy. He won you that championship. He got you that championship. And the problem for saying
Trent Dilfer should get one too.
Trent Dilfer was never a star. Like, never won a Pro Bowl.
He didn't do a Pro Bowl.
Never won none of that. Whereas Joe Namath was Eli Manning. I'm keeping it very funky. Like, Eli is not no star. Like, Eli has not had a bunch of great passing years. But in the playoffs, Eli is as good as it comes. Same with Joe Namath. In the regular season, his numbers are not that pretty. But in the playoffs, Joe Broadway? But back to the alternative you had.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. So I think Sam Darnold, if I could predict his entire career, I think he'll have about 7 years with the Jets. I think they'll make the playoffs in about 4 of those 7 years. I think they'll get to the Super Bowl in 1 of those 4 years. There's a chance that Sam Darnold might win the championship. There's a chance he might not. Now, that's what I think for Sam Darnold's career. 7 years with the Jets, 4 playoff runs, semi-successful.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Bradford, on the other hand. Not Sam Bradford, isn't it? No, Baker Mayfield. Yeah. Baker Mayfield. I feel like Baker Mayfield will not have a successful career. I feel like he'll be gone from the Browns within 3 years. I think year 1 they'll probably go 6-10. They'll be promising. Year 2 they'll go 8-8, miss the playoffs. Year 3 you will be cut. Unfortunately, this is the way I'm seeing it because I don't think Hugh Jackson will last there for the next 5 years. And if he doesn't last there, that means Baker Mayfield will not last because that's his quarterback. And you know how this NFL league, because Geno Smith didn't last because he wasn't drafted by Bulls. It happens every time when a new quarterback coach comes in or a new coach comes in. If you're the young player and he didn't draft you, you're not going to last. It's not going to happen that way. I don't think that's probably going to happen to Baker Mayfield. And I believe in 4 years, they'll be back in the top 5 picks looking for another quarterback. 4 years. Because I think Baker will have...
Oh, you said for a quarterback. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think in 4 years, that will be the end of the Baker Mayfield experience.
No. Okay.
With the Browns. Whereas
I thought you said they're going to be a top draft pick. I said they're going to be a top draft pick next year.
Whereas with Lamar Jackson, I feel like Lamar Jackson will have the benefit of lack of pressure. There's a certain thing that comes, like from Drew Brees, got drafted a lot later on, and because of that, I think that's why he's successful. Because he was considered probably the best throwing prospect of that draft. But that's Michael Vick's draft.
He was the first second-round draft pick.
Exactly. He was considered the best throwing prospect of that draft, but because he was short, he fell to the second round. Now we can look at Drew Brees and say, like, oh, he was that good. But if he was drafted first over Michael Vick, he would not be in the career. Like, he would not have a career right now.
Well, if he went to if he went to Atlanta, he would have got hurt.
If he went top 5 in that draft, Drew Brees would not be where he is now. And I think Lamar being the 32nd pick, there's no pressure on it. A lot of the good quarterbacks are not in the top 5 pick because that pressure is what makes you never good. Like Ben Roethlisberger wasn't a top 10 pick. It allowed him to his first year to play behind Charlie Batcher, no pressure. No pressure. Cordell Stewart had all the pressure. Eli has all the pressure on him. That's what and then Eli didn't live up to the hype. Let's keep it 100. He did not. Most quarterbacks drafted that high do not live up to the hype.
If you could really think about the last 10 years, you got Peyton Manning.
Even Cam Newton, the number one pick, did not live up to the hype.
Until you flew that line.
Like, name me the quarterback that did. Maybe John Elway, and he struggled for years.
You mean who lived up to the pick on the first year?
No, this isn't their careers.
Oh, except for
Peyton
Manning.
Lives up to... Like, Peyton Manning is the only nigga.
That's what I'm about to say. Peyton Manning
is the LeBron James, though.
Yeah.
He's
that's the rare breed.
Exactly.
That's what everyone follows.
And then let's look at that same draft. Ryan Leaf, second pick. That pressure killed him. Now we even go to that David Carr
Andrew
draft.
Luck is another one.
David Carr,
injuries.
Facts. So right now he hasn't lived up. Because there's nothing against Andrew Luck.
No.
He just hasn't lived up.
But I'm saying, like you said, he's a talented player, but you go into a team, they don't put a line around you because everybody that was in line.
You know what I mean? Like, they're gone. Get hurt. So, man, if Luck went probably like 30. Luck is a star.
He's probably a champion.
Over and over, like Russell Westbrook, third round pick.
Exactly.
I'll even give you a better example. Aaron Rodgers versus Alex Smith. They were both considered the number one pick. Then they said that Alex Smith is more ready, which he was.
Yeah.
And he still is, kind of. Like, he was just more... He has more quarterback-ready skills than Aaron Rodgers to this day has of those two quarterbacks. But Alex Smith got thrown right into the fire. Won one game in his first, 21 starts. Whereas Aaron Rodgers' first 2 years never had to play. Never had even close to the same pressure as Alex Smith. And when we talk about those two players, we don't even mention them together. We won't even just say Alex Smith was a bust and Aaron Rodgers turned to be a superstar. When you realize they both were supposed to be the number one pick. They both were being considered for it. But for some reason, Aaron Rodgers' cockiness made him drop. Whereas Alex Smith was chosen as the more mature, the more ready player, which he was. But look at his career for it. He didn't live up. But to say if Aaron Rodgers was the first pick, would he have lived up to that? Hell no, he wouldn't have. We would have still looked at him like, yo, why haven't you lived up to Brett Favre's legacy? You're the first pick.
Exactly.
So for me, I'm looking at Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. Y'all gonna fail. I almost see y'all exactly as the 2002 draft with David Carr and Joey Harrington, which went first and third, to the Houston Texans and the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions was continuously top 5 every year. They kept drafting wide receivers year after year. Roy Williams, Mike Williams. That never worked for Joey Harrington. Same with the Texans. Y'all kept drafting defensive players and turning up a great defense, but y'all didn't block him. David Carr was leading in sacks year after year. They had too many pieces they needed to put together. And my point in this draft, again, Baker Mayfield, you're going to a team that has never been successful. Why would I think that they're going to make you successful? Sam Darnold with the Jets. They have not been successful in the last 30 years. And even y'all most successful situation with Joe Namath, that wasn't really that successful. Why would I feel like I'm going to do that? It's the same teams and the same players. The Giants, the Steelers, the Patriots, and Bill Belichick. The same teams, the Dallas Cowboys, are the same teams that are going to be in the running all the time. They know what they're doing. And those other teams, like the Bengals, where it's yo, have they won anything? Since 91 when they got Akil Smith, didn't develop him right. Same shit's going to keep happening.
But you just always, like you said, the top 10 usually stays the same. Once in a while you might get a player like the Giants, of course, was there. I think Tampa Bay was there a little bit. But those are not on our yearly basis. But the yearly basis teams is the Bears, Miami, freaking Cleveland, Jets.
Cleveland, Miami, Jacksonville. But Jacksonville finally after Tom Coughlin.
And then finally moved. Finally. So, after years.
And again, the Blake Bortles situation. He'll never live up to that hype. He's a third pick in the draft. He'll never live up to that. Never. It just can't happen. Well, Johnny Manziel had a chance to be a good player because he was a 22nd pick. He got allowed. As a matter of fact, Tebow. If Tebow had went top 5, he would have never got his opportunity even in Denver to have the minimal success that he had. So when I'm saying that Lamar Jackson's going to be the most successful quarterback out of this draft, I'm thinking that Josh Rosen and Lamar Jackson will be the most successful quarterbacks in this draft. The rest of them, nah. Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, I feel like they're not going to live up to their picks. Whereas Lamar Jackson, even Kyle Luletta, and Josh Rosen, I think they're going to be extremely successful because they fell back. Josh Rosen has no pressure on him. He has to completely attack this how dare they let me drop. The same goes with Aaron Rodgers. He had a chance at the 24th pick, which is probably what he was supposed to be, Jack, to be I'm going to make all of them suffer for not letting me be one of the top 5 picks. He comes at it more attacking it rather than trying to defend himself. Mm-hmm. Sam Darnold got to defend himself now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I deserved it. I was that good in college. I deserved to be the Jets pick. Your whole career, you got to prove that you are. Whereas for Aaron Rodgers, you never had to prove nothing. I'm just gonna prove for me that I know I was better than the 23 teams that didn't pick me. Rosen gets that clean light, that green light now.
Mm-hmm.
Green light. Like I wasn't the first pick, so I don't have that pressure. I'm not in New York. I don't have that pressure. I'm behind Sam Darnold, who I know I'm going to take over for. Almost like Mahomes. Mahomes is probably going to be a very good quarterback for a long time with Kansas City. He got the chance to fall back. Wasn't a top 10 pick. Got to fall back. Got to sit behind Alex Smith. And now everything is in place for him. That's a playoff team. They might even make the playoffs this year. He might make the playoffs for the next 10 years. That's success. That's how you set up a player to be successful. Deshaun Watson, he's going to be successful because he fell back. If Deshaun Watson was the number one pick for Cleveland, he would have been a bust. He would have never lived up to the hype. But Deshaun Watson was the best quarterback in the draft. He fell back. And now he was good. And then he dominated. Broke all the rookie records because he had no pressure. And was already the best quarterback in the draft. That's how you win. Now, Lamar Jackson, to me, has the highest ceiling. Now you put him in the best position to actually be successful. Michael, the quarterback coach that actually developed Michael Vick with Philadelphia, is his coordinator. Flacco's on the way out. This is all for Lamar to be successful. He's going to be successful. Whether that means like 6 years of making extremely entertaining plays, or that means a couple of playoff runs, that's what's going to happen. Where for Baker Mayfield, history shows that doesn't look good for him. For Sam Darnold, history shows it does not look good for him. For Rosen, Jackson, looks very good for them. Looks very bright. And for my alternative view, Lamar Jackson is going to be more successful in his career for the NFL draft than Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield.
Time will tell. Only time will tell.
Facts.
Not in year one.
3 years, man. Because the average length of a career in the NFL is 3 years. You got to give it 3 years.
I just think that there's no patience, but I get winning is now. But the alternate view. My alternate view is about so a little way back, still related to the draft.
Okay.
But it's about running back Ernest Davis, running back at Syracuse. One of the high recruited. He was he played for Syracuse for 3 years. He was the top. He made the All-American honors in the first twice while being there for the first 3 years. He led them in his sophomore year to a national championship with 11-0 season, beating the Texas Longhorns at the Cotton Bowl and winning MVP. One of the top running backs, actually will also be one of the top running backs coming into the draft, into the 1962. Yes, 1962 draft. He was then drafted number 1 by the Washington Redskins, and then immediately, actually being the first player, number 1 draft pick to be traded, immediately traded to the Cleveland Browns due to the fact of the owner of the Washington Redskins, which is no surprise, was an avid racist, and he did not want African Americans on his team.
Wow. I know nothing about this.
It's very shocking, right?
Yeah, this is
fucking beautiful. George Preston. You can I get the name out. Make sure you send him some fan love.
George Preston. I'll Google that right now. I want to see what his face look like that.
Nah, he died in 1960. Died.
Damn.
Yeah.
He didn't even see them win.
Yeah.
He didn't sound like the black quarterback Gus.
He knew what was going. But he was the reason I bring up this kid because he was one of the top draft picks that we never would know of. The reason why I say his name is because you probably would never hear his name because he died only 10 days after joining the Cleveland Browns due to leukemia that they found in him after signing with the team. So I just bring it up because I just think it's just an amazing, just an interesting story about a player that, especially coming out of Syracuse, New York. It really shocked me because as I was looking more into the Zaire Franklin and looking, then I came across a story and it's just like, wow, it's like this amazing player who could have been in the 62 draft. Like he was actually who was the guy that recruited him? Who was the one I was over there? Jim Brown was recruited. He was actually compared to being the same player as Jim Brown. Jim Brown actually considered him better than himself. And when he was joining the Cleveland, it was amazing because Jim Brown went to go practice with him, played with him.
What's his name?
Ernest Davis. Ernest Davis. He had he was classmates with John Brown and was roommates with Jim Brown.
Speaking of Jim Brown, you made George Preston that once said, Jim Brown integrated the end zone, making the score separate but unequal. Wow. He was also quoted as being, for 24 years, Mr. Preston Marshall. His name was George Preston Marshall. So people that will look him up. George Preston Marshall.
Please
for
get that.
24 years, Marshall was identified as the leading racist in the NFL.
I'm going to take a little side note from what I'm going to because I'm going to continue the story. Just understand, remember a couple of years ago when they were making a big petition about changing the Washington Redskins name because of racism? Yeah. And they said that's ignorant?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Alright, let me now proceed back to my alternative view.
Ernie Davis, that's what you mean. Syracuse All-American running back.
Yeah. Ernie Davis. So, he was classmates with Jim Brown. He was actually going to be either better or just as good. And just to say, like, I just bring it up as what could have been.
Right.
What could have been if Jim Brown and Ernest Davis ran the ball together.
I'll even throw another caveat on top of this. Ernest Davis was the first African American to ever win the Heisman Trophy in 1961.
Yes.
To show you how good this man was.
Yes. He was so talented that Syracuse retired his jersey, and the Cleveland Browns retired the number 45 jersey. He played not one snap, and his jersey was retired.
He was actually inducted into the College Hall of Fame in 1979.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. The story that goes untold, but yes, you can hear it here.
Shout out to Change of Pace Sports, the best urban talk podcast.
Because we give you them alternative views.
That's impressive. I mean, this guy, I've never heard of him. Like, I've never even. Like,
I came across him.
He was the first.
Only reason why I came across because I was going through Syracuse, right? And I said 4-year starter. I said, how does that make sense? So I'm looking through I'm just going in, eyes burning, just looking like that's ridiculous. And then I see Ernest. I'm like, what is this guy? Like, I never heard best running back. That never what?
Nice. I'm
like, what?
He was considered better than Jim Brown, and we consider Jim Brown probably the best.
Jim Brown himself considered him better than him.
Like Jim Brown said.
And if you look at in his first 3 seasons, he ran 98 attempts for 600 yards, 100 attempts for 800, almost 900 yards, 150 attempts for 800 yards. He averaged at least 6.6 yards per carry, 20 touchdowns in 3 seasons, and he was one of the first catchers out the backfield.
I'm just shocked that I just didn't know that the first African American Heisman Trophy winner. Like, why is that not even?
That's not even
like Black History Month comes up. Why is it not even on ESPN? Like, what? Why is it never came one to 30 for 30? Or is it?
First, so yeah, that was.
So I mean, shout out to the 30 for 30 guys. You got something you gotta get on right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a story right here that definitely could be on Outside the Lines or something.
I'm just saying.
Once I brought it up,
yeah, because once I seen it, I said, "What? What's the name? First African American." I thought the first African. I was like, "Wait, Charles?" I was like, "Wait, that's the first African American."
I thought it was OJ. I thought it was OJ.
I just assumed someone else, and then you just sit there and look like. It was a real solid guy in the 60s. The same time where these players were out there. These players that we glorified.
Nice.
And he just sat in the midst of just.
And then he passed away 23.
23 years old.
Jordan number. This is. Why do we. Well,
and he came out of born in Pennsylvania. 6'2", 212 pounds. Man was a wrecking ball.
Free Muba.
Mm-hmm.
He did. Shout out to my man Meek Mill. He back out.
That's just a sad story. I just wanted to share that. Bring up
That's an incredible alternative view right there.
Yeah, that's dope.
And so he's speaking on NFL Draft, one of the most notorious, infamous number 1 picks that we don't really know much about. That's one of the most infamous we know about. John Elway. We know about Peyton Manning. We know about Michael Vick as the number 1 pick, but we have a guy that's better than Jim Brown, who's like the iconic Cleveland Browns,
Never
and there's
played.
somebody that was like in his classmate better than him.
I thought that was a perfect story for our show today about the draft class, about a player that was drafted, that was talented, that never even seen the field.
So with that being said, a lot of you players out there that get drafted that don't fulfill your potential, this is a great story that y'all need to look at and actually look in the mirror and go a little harder that next morning.
Like,
period.
It can go to any day, man. Any day.
Like somebody that talented that never got a chance to be great. That makes everybody want to find their greatness.
That's a fact. I think he even also signed the most expensive contract, if I'm not mistaken.
That would be more impressive.
No, wait. Let me get that. Let me make sure. Yeah. Davis signed a 3-year. Yes, sorry. He signed a 3-year, $200,000 contract with the Cleveland Browns. Mind you, this is 1961. He signed this contract in December while preparing to play the East and West Shrine Game. They signed him cash money while he was still in college. While he's playing the Shrine Game that these kids still play today. These games that where you're just showcasing, oh, I can play.
Yeah, and then they had 2 leagues drafted him. Like the AFL and the NFL drafted him.
AFL, yes.
So it's like, this guy was just one of those special plays that for some reason that history is kind of like missed a little bit.
It was the most lucrative contract for an NFL rookie of that time.
Wow,
you just think about this. It's amazing.
So one more time, Ernie Davis is a legendary Cleveland Browns Syracuse running back. Ernie Davis.
Ernie Davis, number 45.
Wow.
Watch
the Cleveland Browns.
Look at him.
It never works out for you guys, does it?
You see, I was going to say something, but I was like, I'm going to do a whole lot because Cleveland just never works.
But on another note, I do want to say before we I want Baker Mayfield to be successful. I actually thought that he can take off from where Johnny Manziel left off. Like, he's a little bit bigger. But
I'm glad you clarified that because I don't think people understand. Like, you do like.
Assuming that I'm thinking that Baker Mayfield is not going to be like. I literally think that he was the best quarterback prospect of this group right now. I think he's a better version of Johnny Manziel, and I thought Johnny Manziel got a raw deal. It's better than most of the quarterbacks in the league right now. Like, matter of fact, and then to the people, I'll just make this real quick, because I hear a lot of people saying that you shouldn't compare Baker Mayfield to Johnny Manziel, and it's a bad comparison, and that Baker's way better of a leader than what's the kid name? Johnny Manziel ever was. That's false. So Johnny Manziel's first 2 years in college were way better than anything Baker Mayfield ever did. That was age 19 to age 20. Baker, to be honest with you, the numbers that Johnny put up in college are Tebow-like level. This idea that somehow Johnny was just this guy that had fun, played around, and just took he was
money bitches.
The reason that he had all these things that he was doing that people were watching because he was that good. I think we're starting to look at the person and not looking at the player. The player was extremely talented.
Do you understand when you're the first person to beat Alabama?
Saban.
Nick Saban's Alabama.
During that time, when they were undefeated Alabama. Now you've seen a lot of those players go to the NFL.
This is the Alabama who projected plenty of draft picks.
Some of them
who are dominating right
now that had to play against Johnny. And Johnny won those games. You know what I'm saying? So with this idea, a lot of people are saying that Baker Mayfield is way above Johnny Manziel and so much better. No, he's not. He's bigger. And that's it. I think Baker Mayfield's 6 feet?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Johnny Manziel's 5'10"?
No, 6'1".
You know what I'm saying? So clearly, the only difference between the two of them is I think Baker has a little bit better of an arm. He's a little bit bigger of a person.
Yeah.
But as far as everything else, Johnny was just as good. Let's stop that right now. I'm not gonna allow that to continue going. The Browns failed Johnny Manziel. Don't look at this Johnny would never make the league failed Johnny Manziel. A 20-year-old that came out early from college that's known for partying. That's the league, and that's the GM. That's the structure that you came to because he's a child at that age. Johnny came into the league as a child. Baker Mayfield is actually, 23?
He going in as a grown man. He's 4 straight years of a starter.
Not even that. He transferred 1 year, so he missed a year.
Yeah.
He lost a year without it. He went 4 years. So Johnny went 2 years, freshman and sophomore, in the league. Whereas, Baker Mayfield, first year he played, got beat out by Davis Webb, who's actually the backup for the Giants now. Got beat out from Texas Tech, moved on to Oklahoma. Missed a year, now took on there. Now the last few years he's dominated. Let's not get that he's dominated. But he's also 23 and 3 years older than Johnny Manziel is when he's entering the draft. And he's also 2 years older when we're seeing him playing his best than Johnny Manziel. So that maturity factor that I want to throw in there, that's a 2-year, 3-year difference. If we just saw Baker Mayfield in his first 2 years, you wouldn't have, because he wasn't on the field. Davis Webb was in front of him, and the next year he had to he missed that year. So he probably was partying just as much as Johnny. But the reason that Johnny was already he was the highest selling jersey in football in America. That's with Odell Beckham's and whoever was in the NFL at that time. Johnny Manziel was the highest selling football jersey, to the point where they had to take his name off the website because it was against the law to have that kind of brand likeness selling. So this idea that Johnny was a problem or all this, let's keep it 100. Cleveland failed Johnny Manziel. And they might fail Baker Mayfield the same way. So let's not jump behind that was Johnny's fault. Johnny obviously wasn't that talented. Let's stop it. Watch the tape and know what you're talking about before you open your mouth.
That's a fact. Johnny Manziel.
But I hope the best for Baker. I'm just saying history doesn't look good for him.
First of all, I did like Baker coming into the draft. I don't really like him in Cleveland. I don't like no one in Cleveland or Buffalo. But
I did like when they signed RG3 a couple years ago. I thought that with Hugh Jackson coming in, and then they signed RG3 to be the first quarterback with Hugh Jackson. And if Hugh was this quarterback whisperer,
honestly,
I really thought that was a good match.
It's not because when you hear quarterback whisperer, RG3, I said, "Oh, match made it happen." So you really look and you like,
and then RG turned out well. I feel like I think they all won a game. I think the last game that they won was with RG3 starting.
Then he got in. They got in.
Then he got hurt, and then they didn't bring him back the next year, which didn't make sense to me.
And then the guy picks. I just don't get it. If you're
if
you're a quarterback whisperer, you've had 4 to 5 quarterbacks and got rid of them all in a year or two.
You couldn't even get to Johnny. you drafted Kaiser. Now he might become Aaron Rodgers' heir apparent. I just think Cleveland, Brady Quinn. But there's nothing wrong with Brady Quinn. Like, he wasn't a bad talent. Like, why would we just keep looking at, like, this is Cleveland? Like,
it's Cleveland.
And it's not, like, it could have brought LeBron James in to be a tight end. They would have still lost games. This organization has been, when y'all fired Mangini is when y'all took a step back.
I think
he should have never been fired.
I think what Cleveland should realize and look back to history.
They just fired their GM this year. Sashi Brown.
Yeah.
For no reason.
I think, what, you got Dorsey now, son?
Yeah, I like Dorsey, but again, I don't fire that often.
I think Cleveland should take a look back and really think of what has made them successful. Top running backs.
No.
They could have won.
Because that's not even going to help him. Because you brought in a very good young running back and you ruined his career too. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Trent Richardson. I don't know where he is right now. You know what I mean? I wish the best for his life and his career. They ruined him. Damn. He was Ezekiel Elliott before Ezekiel Elliott.
Damn. I was thinking maybe they could have won with Saquon this draft, but they would have ruined
Saquon. They ruined too.
Who would have ruined Saquon?
The running back they have right now, they ruined it. Cromell.
No, Cromell, he left.
Alright, that's already he made it out.
No, they just picked up Carlos Hyde. They're about to ruin him now.
No, he already had his career. He already had his career. He's not ruining that.
But he would get good
Peyton Hillis. Like, careers get ruined in Cleveland. And it's simply because the same reason I tell people with the Knicks, why the Knicks have not been successful for 30 years.
Can't keep changing management.
You have to allow a team to run for 5 years. A true rebuild is 5 years. And that requires coach, GM, president, all to be together for those 5 years. A perfect example with Cleveland and why I struggle is what y'all did to Bill Belichick. Y'all gave him 4 years and he got y'all in the playoffs. They were changing everything. On the 5th year, y'all fired him. And now you look at Bill Belichick with New England, it's like, why didn't that happen with... But if you look at those 4 years with Cleveland, that's the last time they were really good. Every year they were competing in one of the best defenses under Belichick, and look at the staff he had with him. Mm-hmm. Genius, Nick Saban, Cromell. All these guys went on to become head coaches at some point. But what happened in Cleveland?
They stayed where they are.
They fired him. And then who became the GM of the team that they fired? Newsom became the GM for the Ravens that they got rid of Belichick with. And now Newsom is the GM since Baltimore went there. Has already won a championship before Cleveland. Y'all could have had that same Newsom. That's the best tight end in their history. Y'all could have had Newsom as your GM. And let him go to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, Cleveland messed up from last year when you had Deshaun Watson. You traded him away.
I was screaming that for a while.
You traded him away, and now you use the pick to get Denzel Ward.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, didn't the Browns have 2 top 10 picks out here?
Mm-hmm.
They had the number 1 and they had the 5th.
I think they had a little lower. I think something like that. I think.
And they decided to trade that pick back so the Texans could get Deshaun. Well, you could have got him there, and then you go in the second round and get Kaiser, who a lot of us thought was a first round talent.
I honestly thought Kaiser was going to go to the Jets, but I thought that would have been nice for him to be.
Yeah.
That's what I thought his place was.
And the Jets, another to the point where I'm thinking, like, they're not going to work with the Jets. Y'all just ruined Hackenberg. This is the same group that ruined Hackenberg. Why would I think I would know what to do with a quarterback? This is not a new administration. What's his name? McCadden? Mike McCadden?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not counting probably his name. The GM right now, the Jets, you drafted Hackenberg with the second round. This is the same head coach in place that drafted Hackenberg. Everybody's in place.
Yeah, got rid of him.
Nice to live.
No. Petty they got rid of.
Yeah, they cut Petty.
Did they bring up Petty too? Who brought him?
No. Petty was before.
He came in the year before they came in, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Petty was before. But y'all drafted Hackenberg. Second round. Like, that's starter time. That's development time. Y'all never developed him. Why would I think the same group would be capable with Sam Darnold? Like, why would I think that? Like, history shows me, in recent history, that this group that's in place, and the same groups that develop quarterbacks, it's usually the same groups. Andy Reid has developed several that are still in the league right now.
I just have a problem with the Jets due to the fact of I just don't think they know how to spend money. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They spend money. And I think they use it to the point that way it just, like, they spend money rather than drafting players. I think they personally gave up on their draft picks.
Well, I can tell you where everything goes wrong.
They gave up on their draft picks.
I can show you everything goes wrong. So let's go to drafting Aaron Rodgers, right? And the path to Aaron Rodgers of finally becoming successful.
You just don't draft.
So Aaron Rodgers now gets drafted. He waits 2 years behind Brett Favre, right? You get rid of Brett Favre, you bring him in, right?
Players.
Now, Aaron Rodgers doesn't even sniff the Super Bowl of that for another 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So that's 5 years you invested in Aaron Rodgers. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't get a Super Bowl out of it. But now you look on Aaron Rodgers' career, most people consider him a top 5 quarterback for his career, right? But if you look at his first 5 years, he was far from that. That was development time. And the point that I'm simply making, like, you can't base this off of Peyton Manning. And I think this is what everybody's doing it. Peyton Manning and John Elway. These are Andrew Luck. Even RG3. These are rarefied prospects that everybody felt could be stars from day one. So why would you now think that that's a typical route for a quarterback? Like, that's not what Eli Manning found success. That's not what Ben Roethlisberger found success. That's not even Phillip Rivers. We can look at just those 3 quarterbacks for the last decade. None of them started from day one. Not one of them. And they all learned behind a successful quarterback. Well, except maybe Big Ben. Because, like, Charlie Batch, that's not really a successful quarterback.
He was a vet.
But he was a veteran, and there was a winning team at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Cordell Stewart was the year before, so it's not like they was far off what they had going on. But still, Ben didn't start from day one. Ben had to wait behind Charlie Batch. But they committed to him. He didn't win the Super Bowl his first year when Ben took over. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to stick it out with a player like Cam Newton. Cam is one of the best players in the league right now. But if the Carolina didn't draft him and wait it out, like his first 2 years he wasn't the best or most polished, but we knew he was gonna become that. And I don't like Cleveland. Like, I already hearing nonsense out of them.
No, see, this is my
like they're already saying Baker is going, and I like what happened with LA and Fisher. Get him out of here. Like, he's not understanding how to bring up our players. And like the same way Sam Bradford got ruined by the Rams, that almost happened with Wentz. Not Wentz, it's Goff, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Fisher would have ruined Goff the same way he ruined Vince Young. You don't let the same coach ruin another quarterback. People feel like people say like he got Steve McNair. McNair was already nice when Fisher came in. He wasn't there when to develop McNair. And a lot of people they associate like Fisher developed McNair. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. So now when the Vince Young situation comes up, yeah, he ruined Vince Young. Let's keep it 100. And he almost ruined Jared Goff. Shout out to the GM that's like, yo, get him out of here. This is getting too far. Why is Goff wearing a spring coat and a clipboard, and this is our number one pick that we traded our future for. You know what I'm saying? When Wentz started from day one in the same draft. So I'm just saying, I'm not hating on Baker Mayfield. I'm not hating on Sam Darnold. But everything around them tells me that they're going to fail. And that's what has to do with the success of a player. Is the organization they're coming into going to produce some success? And you can see it like Indianapolis when they drafted Peyton Manning. There was a lot of things in place to make sure that Peyton Manning reached his potential. Whereas with Ryan Leaf, no. They didn't develop Ryan Leaf well. They did not. And that's what my point is. So, this NFL draft special. If we could look back at this in 3 years and say, well, yeah, we're right.
I'm confident we're right.
Shout out to Saquon Barkley, man. Next face of the Giants.
Shout out to the Colts. We ain't being top 10 no more.
Shout out to the offensive trio we about to have now. Barkley, Shepard, and Odell. They all look alike, too.
Shout out to New York, still being top 5 in picks.
Jets.
That was dope.
Well, it's another dope show of Change Your Pace Sports with alternative views. This is our NFL 2018 draft special with alternative views, defend your squads and top fives, all included just about the draft. We'll continue to, have the best urban sports talk podcast on the net. Check back for us, constantly bringing out material. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing.